Yeah, no, we're absolutely happy to go and collaborate when it comes to other groups if they want to go and create, conventions or festivals and stuff. One thing that I also like to say more frequently when it comes to stuff like this is that people are always scared about, like, if we have competition, like how we handle, like, competition in the whole entire film. I don't think we have competition. We just have partners.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and our guest is...
Ah! Hi, I'm Chris.
What's so terrifying of the camera? It's done nothing wrong to you.
Lion, we got another screamer. We got another screamer. Oh, boy,
Raptor,
here it comes.
phrasing.
There it comes.
For the love of God, phrasing.
Oh,
Phrase
boy.
what? Oh, sorry. We have another phrasing screamer. Is that better?
Oh, dear God. Close enough. Close enough. Hello,
Close
Chris.
enough. Okay.
What is it you do here in the virtual world?
Hi, I do a lot of random stuff here. We're currently in the glorious land that is PJKT, in fact, Beta World. I'm a director for this whole entire shindig. Well, one of like 6, 7 directors now. And I also do a thing as well called We're the Champions, where I'm now doing like weekly game nights and stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. Do you really want me to go down the list?
Yes. Tell us everything. We want to know everything.
Okay. Fine. Okay.
Founding
Founding father double shootout format for Vegas Infinite. Been doing tournaments for Laserdome for 3 years. Now the lead sportscaster for Syrix Media. I was part of VRCon for 2021 and 2022 when it comes to doing graphic design, tournament organization, events in general, and I think like media department stuff as well. So if you see the stream overlay during that, then that was me as well, even the transitions. Of course, PJKT, Laserdome, Vermin Haywired, which was a thing for a hot second. I'm being a voice actor for that. And World Champions, what else? God, there's just a lot of stuff on my resume, honestly.
Holy dear God, you're a busy bee.
Chris, just breathe, buddy. Just breathe. I just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure you breathe in between the lines there, man.
There's a lot.
So, how did you get started with all of this? Like, how'd you get in VR and with your entire career resume?
When I was like 15, 16, I found a video from James T, which is like the video that basically got a good portion of us into this, which is of course like Vrchat in a nutshell. I thought that was cool, and then what I did was actually purchase, with my own money, which was, big at the time because like 16, my own headset, which was the first Oculus CV1, the original Oculus Rift. And so I set it up in my living room because I was on a laptop at the time. I don't know how the hell that lasted for that long, but I set it up, had a fun time, and then got started when it comes to just doing stuff in Werewolf Worlds. If y'all remember that, when it comes like the physical cards that you need to go and pick up. Did that for a little bit, then learned about Laserdome. Still don't know how I met Syrix, which to this day becomes a massive mystery, but I joined off of Syrix. Syrix left, learned about Rickety, who still to this day I have to thank for my entire career when it comes to anything, because he brought me into Laserdome, said, hey, we're doing a tournament. I said, okay, I like doing tournaments, and I of course worked with Vegas Infinite beforehand for a tournament back in 2019. I was like, cool, I can do that stuff. And then that's how I got my start when it comes to doing that, then doing sportscasting, which then led to all the other things that spiraled down to where I am today.
Oh, wow. So let's back up a little bit. What is Laserdome? And how did you, what was your beginnings in Laserdome like?
So Laserdome is a laser tag game. That's simply it in VRChat, where it's up to 20 people can go and play, up to 4 teams. There's even like a free-for-all mode as well, even the battle road system. So if you want to play Battle Royale for, whatever reason. It's fun though, it's fun. Go ahead and go and do it. But yeah, it's been going on for quite some time, and Syrix actually been doing good when it comes to updating the map. In fact, guess what?
What?
There's a sequel coming out soon.
Oh, to Laserdome?
I say soon as in like maybe in like the next couple months. But yeah, no, there's a sequel in the works right now for that.
Oh.
And yeah, no, it's one of the longest running VRChat games, I would say, that doesn't necessarily have like any additional updates. Like, like when it comes to like murder, there's like all the other additional maps. This one is all contrived into one specific location. And so it's one of, if not like the biggest tournament scenes when it comes to VRChat history, especially for how long it's been going for. Like I said, I've been doing this for 3 years now.
Wow.
When it comes to my origins, like I wasn't necessarily like in like the betas or anything like that. Yet again, I learned pretty late when it comes to what Laserdome was. But yeah, like I said, I joined off of Cyrix, couldn't find Cyrix, found Rickety instead, told me about the tournaments, I decided to join in. And so it was like me, Rickety, Cyrix, and 2 other people that hosted the first ever tournament, which at that time, we did a single elimination format, which basically means that everyone went against one other team. If you won, you move on to the next round. If you don't, then you're just gone from the tournament. And we set it up so that it was maximum of 8 teams because we knew that like there were some people that may be interested, and of course we were trying to build up hype for this. And what we're not expecting was how much hype this game actually had, because in the first 6 hours of the assignments being lived, all 8 slots got filled.
Wow.
In the first 6 hours. Even the VRChat devs wanted to create a team like they did with the Pekka Pekka Battle tournaments, and they couldn't because they were going to make the tournament the next day. Like, they wanted to make the team the next day, but they couldn't because of the fact that just 6 hours, boom, gone. Everything filled up. So when the tournament happened, you know, it was really exciting to go and see. There were teams from like different groups, like Shiba Squad had a team, VRChat Kmart had a team, I think Blood Ravens had a team, and then also like just independent teams that were made. So like One Shot Family had a team as well when it comes to just like independent people from there. If you know, there's this team called Cute. I'm forgetting their name, but they were actually a partnered streamer at the time. Don't know if they still stream, but I'm pretty sure that they do. But they actually were a mute streamer that went to the grand finale and actually did a very, very wonderful performance there when it comes to playing.
Wow.
But you know, it was an amazing tournament that we all thought was going to be just a one-off thing. And turned out, no, it was not. Because we hosted one the next month, and then we hosted one the next month, and then we kept on doing it like that for like the next like 1.5 years before even taking like a singular break.
Wow. You know, I myself heard of Laserdome, but I didn't realize kind of how big it was. I know, like, one of the people I used to hang out with was Hexen, and he showed me Laserdome initially, 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I was like, this is really dope. I played a few games with some people. I thought it was a cool shit. I didn't realize how big it was. I had no idea.
Also, nothing as well is that because you played Laserdome, you probably heard my voice. Because I'm the announcer for the green team.
Oh, yes. I know. I know now. Holy shit. I never went to the tournaments though. Like, I just went during like a
Lion
little
had a
private
brain
game.
fart.
Yes.
What happened?
Lion had a brain. Lion had a brain fart.
It's been 2 years, Raptor. Cut a break. I forget things.
We will not go there, folks. We'll leave that for you to judge yourself. Have a one, and we're going to keep it going. Look out. This is going to get great.
So, how did from Laserdome, you did sportscasting next?
Oh yeah, when it comes to I did sportscasting for Laserdome. So what initially happened was that for the tournaments, it was just, hey, we're going and streaming this thing. We didn't have like an official team. Like say going back to Pekka Pekka Battle where, you know, there was actual translators there. There was like 2 commentators. It was just, hey, look, here's all the teams. And then, you know, the referees, which, you know, were the people organizing the tournament. We were just talking about just the matches going on, which then turned into me just constantly yelling throughout the matches because of how excited I was. So it turned from just normal conversation to just me just blaring out, and somehow when it came to me just losing my fucking mind throughout these tournaments, it led into me actually getting a position as an official announcer. So I think it was like during the first free-for-all tournament, which was for Halloween, it was revealed to everyone that I was actually the announcer for the free-for-all tournament, which then turned into me being the announcer for the green team once it turned into Laserdome 2.0.
Oh, wow. So after you got into the announcing and with Laserdome, where did you go with your career after that? Like, what was the transition like, and what did you do for them?
So initially, when it came to that, I got called up from Rickety because Rickety at the time was actually working with a group called VRCon. Now no longer. But I got joined into for the events team just to like set up tournaments because during that time, management was really adamant about like trying to get a lot of eyes on VRCon. So we were hosting monthly tournaments, which was a pain in the ass to go and do because like setting up something like this is fairly difficult as is, especially when it comes to a team of people that you're just bringing in now. And then on top of that, having to devote an entire department when it comes to just tournaments every single month, when it comes to a turnaround, with most of the people, not even knowing how most of this stuff goes and works. It's just a very, very difficult process and very time consuming. In fact, like I was the only person there that was doing sportscasting that was actually there consistently. Like Fizzy tried, and then Fizzy had to stop. Kuro tried, Kuro had to stop, and then so I was only there that was, able to be a permanent figure when it comes to those streams.
Wow. So, VRCon. What is VRCon? May I ask?
So VRCon was a convention held every year to go and celebrate communities. And it was actually like one of the, during that time, was actually one of the biggest events that any type of VRChat community has really seen. Because most of this stuff hasn't necessarily been done. In fact, like if we're talking about conventions out of VRChat at the time, then I would say that like the only three ones that people were really knowing about were, Virtual Market, Virality, and VRCon. Virality was still a fairly new thing. They're now not up and running, very successful. We know that Virtual Market, yet again, I think had it was series like A or C funding when it comes to like 11 million that they just received. And so we know for sure that those are going to be going on for quite some time now, especially with Comet VCAT, Music VCAT, all these other side ones that are doing really well. And then with VRCon, it was good at the time when it comes to what was happening. Now I don't know what's going on with that, just because a good portion of staff has left when it comes to VRCon. I keep on saying when it comes to, I'm sorry, but a good portion of staff left. They're going into a new hiring process, and they didn't have one for this year, so who knows what's going to happen with that? It's still up in the air.
Okay. And what is Project Community? And
Project Community is a event group that we all started. So with some remnants when it comes to VRCon, with some new staff as well that worked on different projects. Like I said, when it comes to Virtual Market, we all grouped together with all one known interest, which is of course to try and do events like this even more. So with Project Community, we did our initial first event when it comes to Project Fest, which was overall just a 3-day festival trying to showcase communities when it comes to different events. And so with that was honestly one of the greatest turnouts that we had when it comes to anything that we were to thought of. So starting off with something like that when it comes to an event, and then trying to hone in on more focused things. So trying to make a reoccurring list of things that we can go and do to pinpoint different areas of communities. So like for Fest, we wanted to do something that was more centered around film festivals, so actual film creators inside of VRChat. When it comes to HorrorCon, yet again, that was a long-running event that was going to stop, but we wanted to bring back. So more sort of horror-centric type things. And again, content creators that focus on horror, groups that focus on horror, even artists as well that did a lot of art and helped out when it comes to creepypasta as well. So the main goal when it comes to PJKT is always having a hub to showcase different communities, whether big or small, long running or just started, anything there to showcase what VRChat has to offer.
Wow. So what kinds of things did you find or learn during PJKT and VRCon, like the VRChat had to offer, and what made you want to continue running the festival and cons?
One of the main reasons why I wanted to go and keep on continuing this is just seeing the love for events like this. Because, even though, like, when there was that mass leave when it comes to VRCon, there was there was still a massive interest in keep on trying to do this. And when I was suggested to be a part of PJKT as a director, I told them that it doesn't matter what name we go by, what people are part of the team. This is something that I want to keep on doing because this is something that people love. This is something that we love doing, and so it would be an absolute pain in all of us if major events like this just completely stopped, completely halted, because we recognize that there's so much good in something like this. There's so much good showcasing all of these different communities where it's a hub for people to go and collaborate. It's a hub for newcomers to go and see what's out there and to find their new friends, find their new group. And we wanted to try and go and continue something like this. So the heart of what makes these events is something that we wanted to keep alive, something that we wanted to go and stay. And of course, with something like this, we realized that it requires quite a bit of a team. So you can't just necessarily do it with just, a couple people because, just with something like this, this requires an entire team of people to go and create art, create the logo, create the name, create the worlds, even like the boxes that you go and see there. Color palettes, design themes, even like, additional stuff that we take for granted when it comes to this, like people to host events or even just moderation for us as well. Because, for a three-day event, that's 72 hours that you need to make sure that people are in line just to make sure that, things don't go completely amok.
Wow.
So, something like this requires a lot of team effort and requires a lot of grit to go and do. And I'm really happy with what we went and done here when it comes to this first year.
Wow. So what kinds of things did you learn about during the process of running all of these conventions and cons for PJKT?
When it comes to learning, I would say that the work that you go and see and do here is more than you realize when it comes to doing, because anyone can go and create a logo, anyone can go and make a design, but it takes multiple people to try and perfect what really goes into something like this. Because it takes one to think of an idea, it takes a team to go and fully craft it.
Wow.
And so with something like this, I feel like I'm just answering the same question giving you the same answer, honestly.
It's all good. So
yeah.
How big does a staff have to be to run an event like this? Because you said before it takes a whole lot of people to make things and to moderate. What kind of back of house stuff does it take to run all of this in VRChat?
Well, let's see. So I couldn't necessarily give you a number, but I'll say it again. You need a top executives when it comes to making decisions. Then of course you're gonna need, let's see, art, world. So art, basically graphics, world design, IT as well when it comes to designing additional stuff, events, and moderation as well, just to go and go close to something like this. Now you could try and get more of a skeleton crew when it comes to something much more smaller. So let's say that if you want to do something very small, we're just only on Discord, then you need events moderation and then an art team mainly when it comes to that.
Chris,
but
keep the smallness out, okay? I'm down here. Don't forget. Keep the smallness out. I'm down here.
But even when it comes to the skeleton crew, you're talking about a dozen or more people just alone there trying to go and craft everything.
Okay. So the first time I personally saw PJKT is when Trading Fangs told me about Project Lens. How did Project Lens come into an existence? And what is it?
So even before we actually thought about what the name would be, because when we started in January, we just knew that we wanted to go and do this. We didn't even know what to call ourselves. So I think even the first names that we thought of was Project Frontier. We liked the name Project, but we didn't know what the hell to go and call us. So during that time, when we were trying to find our identity, we had initial ideas on what we wanted to go and do with this group and with the different events we wanted to do. And since one of our directors was actually I think 2 or 3 of our directors now are very heavily involved when it comes to the film scene, we wanted to definitely do something that revolved around film. And so that was the initial idea when it comes to having a film festival. So once we had the idea for Project Fest, we also wanted to craft the idea of Project Lens as well. So we had something next go and follow after that.
Mm.
And so with Project Lens, we once we had like the name there, we wanted to craft into what exactly went into it. We know that we wanted to do something a bit more smaller, something not as grandiose, because with the amount of people that are part of it, we recognize that not a lot of those groups actually do have like film departments or have like independent filmmakers in them.
Mm.
So we just wanted to simply have a nice hub world that people can go and watch films.
Mm.
And so that's what we wanted to go and do with that.
Okay. So I myself have no idea. How big is the filming in VR chat? Is it like a big thing that happens a lot? I live very much under the rock. Quite literally, all these different groups didn't start hearing about till like this year. I've been in VR chat for years. Spent more time in private worlds than I did public worlds. So all this is still brand new to me. That's why I ask these questions.
You would be amazed at how big the like indie film industry is when it comes to VR chat, because and I'm pretty sure that some of the viewers know as well when it comes to what Raindance Immersive is, which is this whole entire word showcase when it comes to different things in VR chat, and they've been doing VR chat films for quite some time. So when we had that first call up, I was actually amazed with the amount of diversity when it comes to different filmmakers come in, and even with that, the amount of different film groups there are. So, like, of course, there's Metacosm, there's also, like, Portal Media as well, but even, like, over in Japan as well, like, Hotel Kadesh, if you know what that name is, they've been making a lot of really, really good films as well.
Mm.
So, and on top of that, like, it's not just ending there, but we also see more and more filmmakers coming as well. In fact, there are people that made their first film just for Project Lens. And so we hope that when it comes to when it comes to that experience, they'd actually go and continue making those films.
Mm.
So with events like Project Lens, with stuff like Raindance Immersive as well, more people are just going to be adding on to this whole entire industry and showcasing what you can do inside of VR chat. So it's this world that's ever evolving and keeps evolving as time goes on.
Oh wow. So I can only imagine with like a lot of the updates VR chat's doing to the camera and the background program that is VR chat. I can only imagine that the being able to filmmake is getting easier, especially with Unity and everything of that nature. How much work goes into like filmmaking here in VR chat?
And there's been a lot of progress as well when it comes to individual elements. In fact, if I remember correctly, the person that made Sync is actually working on a system, no pun intended, to actually get rid of syncing issues as well. So how like there's latency when it comes to me doing things, and with different elements, like let's say you want to like choreograph a fighting scene or anything like that, then you would have to go and figure out a way to beat that, whether that be filming individual elements and trying to like track cameras or like trying to animate them all in Blender. With something like that, it was a difficult process back then, but it's slowly becoming easier as time moves on, especially with more and more people trying to go and make films. They're finding brand new ways to go and implement new functions to make stuff like that a complete breeze.
Mm. Wow. You know, funny enough, I think it was with this very recently. There was a few other big films like with a lot of the VR chat communities are starting to break out into the real world as well. Even like HBO, I think, did one as well, or was involved with
With
one.
Little Poe, we've been in virtual reality.
Yeah. So I can only imagine that as this continues, that the VR chat films is only going to get more known.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. No, I'm actually quite impressed because with a lot of the things with like what you do with Project Community and the VR chat films, a lot of work that people put into those. And it's really nice to see a lot of those things come out of the VRChat community as well. A lot of things when I initially hopped in here, I had no idea these things were even possible. I was just like very, very simple-minded, I guess is a way to put it.
Yeah, there's a lot out there when it comes to VRChat, and so we're hoping to shine light on definitely all of those areas as well, just to show that this place isn't just a place of memes. There's a lot of good stuff that's happening here.
Yeah, even Raptor and I, and a lot of the people we've interviewed over time have found out how many groups there are here that do things. There are a lot of like musicians as well as clubs running things and events, and the amount of work and love and attention that goes into running those things. I've been baffled learning all about it this last year, and I can only imagine how much more is going to come out of it. Like, for example, I'll use VRChat, the VRChat clubs as an overarching example, as a metaphor. The amount of work it requires to run those things, between staffing, the social media presence, being able to get in people to play music for your club and DJs and so on, and people doing it for fun. I'm just impressed that the amount of work people put into those just to provide an event for others to have fun. I can only imagine it's not always the most fun thing for them at the time, but it is really cool to see the community pull themselves together to run those things, even such as projectcommunity, as another example. I'm baffled and also very impressed by everything people such as yourselves and everyone else out there does. So thank you for running these things. Sorry.
Well, there's more than just me that you'd probably want to thank as well, because I think how many people do we have on our team, by the way? I'm going to try and look this up and then completely fail, because I know for sure that not everyone is online right now, but God, how many people? What, 32, 2, 5, 3, 4? Just do the math right there. There's like 50, 60 something, I think, on a team.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
Wow. So with the words, brain works. Yeah, no, fair warning.
God.
My brain's going to short circuit sometimes. I do apologize ahead of time.
Yeah.
With the project community,
You need coffee.
I've had enough damn caffeine. I've probably had enough caffeine to
Maybe
run a
that's
city.
maybe that's why that's why you're going. I'm sorry, folks. That's it. Oh,
Probably.
yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're right. Less caffeine.
Okay.
That's the reason why this episode is sponsored by G Fuel. Use code Degen for 20% off your first order.
No. we are not sponsored by G Fuel. Don't do it. Please stop. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Just coffee. We're just sponsored by coffee. Best stuff in the house.
I personally hope
try
if
cappuccino.
we were to get a first sponsor and it's to be anything caffeine related, I would be a very happy camper.
Oh yeah, yeah. Try the cappuccino on ice. It's great. I've got a question. Chris.
Yes.
And I ask everybody usually the same thing. I'll ask the same question. When you first came into VR, first time you came into VR, right? And you hopped on, put your gear on, and everything else like this. What was the weirdest thing that you saw and you looked at it going, no, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. But you had to stay and look at it one more time just to make sure you got your brain focused on it, then left. What was the weirdest thing you ever seen in VR at your very first time?
There must have been some busty model that I couldn't believe existed. Because yet again, that was the meme at the time. Keep in mind, this was
check out that thing
right when Uganda Knuckles was initially going away. But there was probably would that be Kermit the Frog or anything like that? But something must have that was just okay, I'm done for now for a second.
Kermit the Frog with jugs. That would be scary. You must have ate Piggy.
I've seen that Avatar, the busty Kermit the Frog. It's an interesting choice of avatar creation. I will say that at least.
Yes. Yeah, if it doesn't scar you, you just want to put it on and just aggravate the hell out of everybody you see. Just like some of the other ones that are out there.
Oh, dear God. I'm also very impressed by the avatar and world creators here as well. Like every day we pop on and just world hop and check things out, they get better. Like even in this last year, the worlds have gotten so much better looking. And maybe that's because of some of the engine updates, but also the adaptation and work of the people in the worlds. But they look so much better now. Like you go on other VR games and VRChat, I feel like spoiled me. It's like I go see really well built worlds and really well thought out things, and I go into regular game studio stuff, and I was like, wow, this sucks.
Have you seen Resin Arc 4?
I have no
Have you
idea
been
what
to that
is.
world? After this, we all need to go and check it out because it is one of the most beautiful game worlds that I've ever been to.
Really?
It's just a simple rhythm game world. If you know what like My is, with like the buttons and like a circle looks like a washing machine, it's basically that, but in VR. It is one of the most beautiful worlds I've ever been into. Like the lighting is all set up perfectly. There's actual spaces to like look around. So if you want like a crowd, then you can have a crowd there. There's even like a save function as well. When it comes to saving scores and like your progress when it comes to unlocking different songs. It is so good. It is absolutely amazing.
Definitely gonna have to check it.
I'm scared, Lion.
Why are you scared?
I'm scared. He said it's like a washing machine. Could you see me in one on a washing machine going around and around? Would
You
be a
need to help
pretty
me
sight.
catch him.
Come out on fluff.
We're gonna put him in the washing machine.
No,
but he's going to run.
No.
We gotta train them like he's going for the 100-meter hurdles for the Olympics.
I think we're gonna have to like quickly run and grab him and then slam dunk him in the washing machine.
Got him loved so much by people I know. Try this out, folks. You get those lovable ones, you just going, okay, why not? Give it hell, right? Be like putting your brother in the dryer and put him on spin.
It's not true.
Raptor, you haven't lived if you haven't been Larry Bird before.
I don't have pickup on, and they already want to do that with my hamster ball. I pass.
So, with the hamster ball reference, our friend group has given him a whole bunch of names. Amongst this joking of his names, me and the person who works on his avatar
There we go.
made a really funny joke and laughing about what if he gives a hamster ball. And so she put a hamster ball on his avatar, and very excitedly came back and went, look, I did a thing. And so from there, we've been kind of joking about what if we were able to grab the hamster ball and just shake it around and you see Raptor's avatar just spinning around inside it like the hamster meme.
You know, whee, and go, watch it roll. And he goes, and I'm over here thinking,
I can't wait to see him in the sequel of G-Force or Bolt.
Thanks, Chris. Love you too, buddy. I'll take you home to mom for Christmas this year. Holy shit.
Well,
oh boy.
You know, Raptor, it's not love unless they give you a bunch of shit.
Well, it wouldn't be anything else, right? Think about it. Wouldn't know what to do without it. It's like that credit card. Don't go home without it, right? Uh-huh. Mine's not on plastic.
I got a true material girl over here.
Don't say that. Don't say that. There's another Don't say that. The same creator, I asked for a duster, right? And she goes, why do you want a feather duster? Why? You want a maid's outfit? And look out, that just went ape shit. They will now want to try to put a maid's outfit on my avatar. I don't want that kind of duster. I want a Western duster. So if anybody has one, please send it my way. Give me the link, something. I need one. I've been looking for it. And not a maid's outfit.
Every single time you speak, it's just like the curl of the monkey paw. You want one thing, and then you just get a completely different thing.
So, yeah, I know. It always works that way.
I can't wait for the day where we reach the level of size where Raptor says, I want this and not that, and someone excitedly makes it. But like the monkey's paw, there's a butt to it. Be like, I want a duster, not a maid's outfit. And then when in Unity, when you initially see it, you see the Western duster. Everyone else sees a maid's outfit. So no matter what he tries to do, he looks at himself in the mirror and sees him in a Western duster. But to everyone else, it's a maid's outfit.
What is that one? What is that one book series? Amelia Bedelia?
I'm not sure. The last books, a lot of the books I read are very weird and niche. I've never heard of that. Would you care to explain a little bit?
It's a children's book series that I read, unsurprisingly, as a child, where the whole
Like
entire point
Bluefish,
is that
Greenfish?
there's what?
Like Dr. Seuss, one fish, two fish.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got him.
Every book you follow a maid that tries to do things correct but gets it incorrect every single time. So like one of them was a thing for like Thanksgiving. So one of the things was like dressing the turkey, which you know how to dress a turkey. But of course, when it comes to Milli Bedelia, they actually physically dress the turkey in like overalls and such.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you still laughed at that, even though I explained the joke.
I'm simple-minded. It doesn't take much. I'm the exact same person while I work with my own thoughts all day. I just try and create as many puns with the objects I see in front of me, and I'm perfectly fine doing that, hours on end, nonstop. I'm a simple being.
I'm not saying
You have only
nothing.
one way to activate that neuron, and you keep on activating it.
It activates it. That's what's scary.
So
That's the scary part.
before we go on,
Even like before we.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Before we go on a more rant, let's keep going. What's up?
Okay, fine. Let's go.
No, finish your thought, because I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay. So, before we actually like went on to get into this world, a couple hours ago, we went into a call, and you would not stop making like a dairy pun, so like whatever, because
he does it all the fucking time.
Potato-related puns,
all
yes.
The fucking time. He puns on everything. It don't matter if it's food, solid object, or anything. Hell, I can say something, turn it around and use it. He's a pun addict. If you could run his arm up and down on the street corner and go, "You got a pun? I got one. You want to hear it? Yeah, here it is, right there." He says it all the time. But you turn around, he says it out of nowhere. You're talking to somebody, and he'll turn around and look at you, say the pun, and you're going, "What? Are you?" And he just sits there and laughs at you, and you're just going, "Wow." So then he gets me started, and I turn around and do one in reverse. So it ends up with back and forth bullshit for the next 10 minutes of puns on one object. And we have a blast doing it. It's fun. But other people I can imagine looking at going, "What the hell is wrong with these folks? Man, what they have?" And it's not the coffee. It's not the coffee.
It's like you're always stuck in a feedback loop.
I'm
Just
armed
keep
with the best puns in
rolling it out.
Vrchat.
See what I'm getting at? It's okay until he starts fingering through the pages of all his puns that's in his head.
Like he has a yellow pages book.
Yes, you got the idea. Yes,
I don't
Very
have a
much
yellow
so.
page book. You know how
He's working on that one next week. He just hasn't found the yellow pages to put it in. He wants to change the color. He doesn't want a yellow page. He wants to try a different color because he don't want to get in trouble for copyrighting the yellow pages. So he might go pink. He might go orange. He likes orange.
Are you aware of the Mind Palace?
Yes, I am aware of the Mind Palace.
For me, mind is
What does
filled
yours
with
look
just
like?
puns. That's all it is. Just an infinite library of bullshit. Nothing useful.
I'm imagining like this grandiose like Sistine Chapel type look, but every single book is just a singular page that has a one pun, and then it keeps on going on like that for like 15 miles.
Pretty much.
That's a long book.
That's
a big book.
Each book will just be a word, and each word is just puns related to it that I can fill. And the pages just get deeper. And each book
The
is a new word.
Encyclopedia of Puns.
Yes.
The way to go. Just pick out the letter, whatever letter you want, and you just start from there and hope God it ends somewhere. Hey, wow, I made a rhyme.
It's sorted by object.
Ain't that a fucking bitch?
And letter. Alphabetically and by object.
God.
You also
Vegetable
probably
or
have like a
mineral,
bingo
pick
hall
one.
in that mind palace, just like anything that you need to try and soak around, just like goldfish, and then like try and find something to go with it.
It's like a Easter egg hunt game, but you have to search through the books.
Yeah.
Gotta search
Oh,
through the
God.
box. Oh my God, here we go.
Bingo!
What? Yeah, I'm out. Pay up, damn it. I gotta go. I gotta go home. This is getting way over my head. I can't take it anymore. Here's my whatever you want to call it, and here's my paper. I'm out of here. Yep, I can see that.
And with the grand prize of a padded cell goes to...
Oh, here we go with the padded
It's a
cell.
very nice padded cell.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, comes with rats. Here we go. Back to the rat situation.
Room? A rubber room?
With rats, yeah. Hey, but hey, at least
rats
you
make
get
me
the rats.
crazy.
I got the. Yeah, but I got the color TV. He just got a chair.
So before we go too crazy on this, the side tangent that never ends.
Crazy.
You know, we're prone to these side tangents. It's a problem.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do a lot of it, but sorry, folks.
Don't be sorry. It's fine. It's half the fun of these.
We're not going to be sorry. We're just going to keep doing this shit. We're just going to keep doing this shit over and over again.
I'm trying to
moving the
continue
camera back and forth.
I'm trying to continue it.
Love it.
I love how we have like Lion being the civil one, and then rather just like every single time, just trying to add something to it.
That's just the way it is with him and I. He's the serious one. I'm the one that's lost his cakes and can't find them to put them back in the pan. It's like a puzzle piece that's missing. Somebody stole it.
If Raptor and I were the two-man D&D group, I'm the paladin trying to keep the two of us alive, and this rogue here, sorry, bard, just won't stop getting into trouble. I turn around, go pay for the food and the tavern, and then I turn back around again, and he's being hauled off by guards for something.
Yeah, it's like this, Chris. If you want to make it more simple, it'd be like, you know, if you ever have kids, you turn around and the kid's gone, and all of a sudden he's causing enough chaos that you're the one that has to suffer. Remember that?
Oh, so orange cat energy.
Yeah, you got it. He's got it.
Okay.
There it is.
Now,
there
I'm
it
gonna
is.
try and progress forward with the initial point of this video.
And you
Don't
roll
step
a
on it.
natural one.
Hold your thoughts.
Don't step in it.
Where's Project Community going in the future? I remember I was talking with Training Fangs and you a little bit, and some things were mentioned about what the next event is going to be.
We're
What is
going to
that?
Mars.
Like Elon Musk?
He's going to fucking Mars. Fuck, I'm going to Mars. Fuck you. I already got my rocket ship.
Fuck it,
Get
we've
outta here.
all.
Bye, bitch. We're all out of here. Fuck it. Get in the bitch. We're going. Anybody fuel it up? Fuck no. We'll just use a match. It's a big firecracker. It'll go boom. Like Bugs Bunny does.
Mask, what do you mean by going to Mars?
Okay, I was joking with that. But yeah, like the next thing that we're planning on doing is just doing another fest. Because, you know, we had an amazing first year with just a lot of chaos trying to find out who the hell we are. And I think that we did a pretty good job in finding out, well, who the hell we are. So one thing that we know that we want to do is to work on, is to like have FX be the, like one of the next major events. So we already are planning on having that set up. And then of course, finding the next events to go and have around the clock as well. Just so there's additional things for people to go and do.
So,
and not only that as well, but also just like any of the additional things to showcase, you know, who we are to other people and to have, you know, a platform for other people to go and do their stuff as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
I got one for you, Chris. Chris, in the process of doing what you're doing and everything else, knowing you got a group of people that you're doing, sitting down, what's the weirdest thing? I got to cause chaos. The weirdest thing that was ever thrown on the board, but never made it to the board. If you get my drift, that somebody just goes and you just look at him like, "What? Are you serious?" Yeah, I'm serious. And go, "Oh my god!"
I have
What's
a
the weirdest
very
thing?
stupid idea that I would want to do in the
Here we
future,
go.
and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say this is such. Okay, I will preface this. If you're expecting me to say any crazy shit, this is gonna be one of the nerdiest things that you hear me say. I'm also not afraid to say this because it will take so much time to go and do that anyone else that may be interested in it will probably not want to do it either. I've been dying to do a project community puzzle hunt.
Oh,
You probably don't know what the hell I just said.
puzzle hunt?
Okay,
Puzzle
so
hunt is. Used to do them in college.
so you know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
Would you
They
care
could be
to
crazy.
and you know
explain?
the
It
hell
gets
that he has to
really-
go through to complete one.
Through to you goddamn fucking right. We had to do one, and the only way you got it, once you got it done, you had to go door to door to get the parts, the pieces to the puzzle. And then once it was done, you had to figure it up. And once you figured it up, all the pieces together, it gave you instructions where the party was at. That's how bad it got at it. And I mean, we
Yes.
had 150 people running around during Halloween, knocking on doors, asking for certain things on a list, and you had to figure out what each one represent to make out where it was. Yeah, it was nuts, and it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
And if you never got there, they still got a hold of you somehow or another, and you ended up going anyhow. And then everybody explained how it was all done and how they got. It was a blast. It was fun. Yeah.
Like,
It's a
it's
fun
an amazing
situation.
piece of torture for anyone to put themselves into.
Mm.
And
It's a
so, like,
nightmare.
that's also the reason why I want to go and make one as well, is because, like, no one has actually done a VRChat puzzle hunt ever in the history of this game. And, this game has been going on since, like, 2014. In fact, like, we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of VRChat next fucking year. So
Holy
the fact
shit.
that no one has done a VRChat puzzle hunt is both insane and also reasonable. Because, for something like that, it requires so much work to go and do, so much months of like advanced planning, and also like even like just trying to find a way to have everything go and work out when it comes to keeping track of stuff. Luckily, like there's a team called Whoosh Galactic Transcenders Nyam that actually went and made a system on GitHub to make that much more easier, which of course you still need to pay for like website service and stuff like that. But they made something better that they've actually been using for, I think, their own puzzle hunts.
Mm.
And also there were some other like easier puzzle hunts that use that system as well. That honestly I'll be down to go and use for that. It's just it requires so much planning and like so much foresight to make sure that you're not like duplicating other things as well. Because you could have like an idea on what you want to go and do, and then you say, oh, like back in like 2008, there was an MIT puzzle hunt that already has this idea as well, which you can't do it. And then like you have another thing as well that you want to go and do. So like, no, DP Puzzle Hunt already did that. What about this one? No, there was already another puzzle hunt that went and gone and did that. And then just like, what about this one? Oh yeah, Puzzle Pint did that just like 3 weeks ago, and it's just a lot of chaos that you need to go and keep track of. And so that's the major challenge when it comes to creating a singular puzzle for a puzzle hunt. That, by the way, for something like this, like require like 30, 40, 50 puzzles as well to go and do. And like I wish I had the time to do it. I wish I had like the mental insanity to do it as well, but it just requires a lot of work. And on top of that, like most of the puzzles that like you would want people to go and do are either going to be seen as way too fucking difficult for the layman or way too fucking easy for the people that already spend time in these puzzle hunts. So like if you're looking to get into puzzle hunts, there's one that I did as well. I soloed called DP Puzzle Hunt, which I mentioned beforehand. I think it's like dp.puzzlehunt.com or something. Just look up DP Puzzle Hunt, you'll see it. If you're new to puzzle hunts, go and do it. Chances are you can do like the first couple puzzles and even the meta puzzle as well to get introduced to it. But if you also try and go and solve it, you'll realize that, yeah, there's a lot that goes into these puzzle hunts that, like, for a beginner, already is quite daunting. And so, the major thing when it comes to like every single puzzle or puzzle hunts, which I'm going to talk a lot about this, so I'm sorry, but I must. But yeah, so just every single puzzle is a brand new idea, a brand new theme, and like a brand new thing to go with it. So it's just like one puzzle is about like trying to fill in a crossword where every single crossword is like is actually a word in like a reference to a song lyric, but the descriptions of it are just like very verbose versions of it that lead to just puns every single time. So you actually might like it. I'll send it to you after this.
Thank you.
Another one as well is like you would need to the puzzle name is a phone number in emojis. You would then text a phone number, and then you would have to complete like emoji math as well, which it's just pain. It's absolute pain. But I love it because it's amazing. It's torture, but it's so good. And I don't know if anyone else would want to go through that hell. That's like the main reason why I also don't want to do a puzzle hunt is because I don't know how many people would be interested in just putting themselves through that pain.
Well, to make the whole process for VR chat easier, what you could do is just do a series of riddles, which will lead you to a clue.
But that would defeat the purpose! That would defeat the purpose of it being hard, though!
No,
It's
actually,
meant to be
Chris,
difficult. It's meant to be a team effort.
you can make it. You got to make it a team effort. But what you do is instead is you're going to have to get a hold of every world creator that you can, and they put a puzzle, and that puzzle takes them to another world, and then another world until they get to the end. And it's
So
all,
like Identity.
It could be, yeah, pretty much. But without the pieces, figuring it out, it'd be like, okay, we'll just say that. Okay, we're just going to use your logo. One of the letters in your logo is part of the puzzle, and everything else like that. But that takes you that letter. You're going to have to figure out what other world and what other object that has that in there, and try to have to work it together to get it around to take you to the next world, wherever it starts. You get everybody started here, and then they go from there. When at the end, it's one big wingding, wherever it might be. So what it amounts to is you're passing people through worlds, and you're actually doing two things. You're getting people that are new creators that are making worlds to come in, people to come into their world and try to find the puzzle piece wherever it might be in this world. Whatever it might be. It might be a song playing on the recorder in the background. Who knows what it is? But that song, you got to sit there and think, okay, what world represents that part of that song so you can go to the next world? It might drive you completely nuts. And it might be a thing that it takes a full month to get to the end of it. There's a lot of worlds. Think about it. That's a lot of worlds.
So, what you're describing is an ARG in Ultimate Reality game.
But you can make it into a puzzle form in the same process. Because they got to do the puzzle that's going to rip your brain out here to go to the next puzzle in another world.
Oh, and that's how the unlocking system... You're right! That's how the unlocking system would work as well.
See? And you're involving other groups, no matter what they are, and everything else, and it could be one hell of a fucking rush if they ever got to it.
Okay, hold on. Cut to this camera. If y'all are seriously interested when it comes to doing something like this, because, like, yet again, I would be down. It would be a lot of hassle to try and, like, find people that would be wanting to make puzzles and stuff. Because yet again,
open up a can of worms. I opened up a can of worms.
Okay, he did this to me. He did this to me. If y'all want to see that, flood my DMs, please. Flood my DMs saying that would be a cool idea. And if it's shit, just go ahead and tell me, because I legitimately want to know. I legitimately want to know if it's something worthwhile to go and make.
Well,
I may be insane. But I think it's cool. I want to do it. And if y'all think it's cool, I would be willing to do it. I would be down to go through that pain if it was worth it.
Honestly, I think would be an awesome idea. That's just me. You could also have it set where the last clue that leads you to the wingding is timed. Like you have a month to find all the worlds and all the puzzles, and then the final wingding is on the anniversary of VRChat. So you go through all these different worlds and places and stuff, or maybe web pages for VRChat communities or whatever. It'll give you a date, and then a world to go to, and then a thing to join.
And
At
the
the very
time.
end.
And the time.
Mhm.
Yep.
God,
all
I
of it
just
will
realized
work
something.
out.
I
Don't pee
on.
on the floor. Don't get too
No,
excited.
I'm not,
peeing on
I'm
the floor.
not.
I'd be the one. I'm gonna drown first before you guys do. Please don't.
Oh,
He's
counting
thinking
right
now.
now.
The very, very last clue could lead you to an empty Discord server that is just a timer and a world and a date. Nothing more.
Okay.
That's it, and then that's where you end up going on that day, the day of whatever. Yeah.
This entire
He's writing all this
conversation
sh-
reminded me of a fact that
He's-
I have.
He's writing all this shit down. God damn it! Where's my pencil and pen? Write all this shit
I just
paper.
realized that I do in fact have a list of like 21 separate idea for puzzles.
And you
Oh.
get what's
Okay,
nice about
yo,
that is you-
yo, if you want to see this happen, if you want to see
That fucking oh my fucking god! The biggest thing is you're involving other rooms to come up with puzzles
Yeah.
in their own world and bringing it to whatever the deal is to keep it going. And you got
Mhm.
as every world that's there that's involved, and you might get a shit ton of them. You got to coordinate it so it all ends at, like line says, the timeline, the time, the day, and what world it's going to be in for the big wingding. And hopefully you can figure it out. It could be one person, it could be a group of people. It's whatever the deal is. And it could be one, and it might where it if it does get out of hand, you might have to have multiple worlds of that location just to handle it all when they all show up for
Mhm.
the situation. And it's
And
weird.
the final answer. The final answer is going to be a Rickroll.
It works. It's whatever you want to put at the end of it, but you got music playing there and people shooting the breeze, having fun, whatever.
42.
You can do whatever you want. 42.
42.
Back to 42. 42. Nothing else left. Do 42.
I think something like that would be pretty cool. A really cool way to involve different VRChat builders, communities. I think that would be a really awesome way to like get everyone together for everyone to see various things while also kind of doing a fun thing. I like the idea personally. Now
I'm not going to scream into the camera again.
I don't want to scream at it.
Raptor, do you want to do the thing?
Do the roar. I can't roar myself out of a paper bag. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm an old guy. Fuck, my lungs would crack.
No,
Like
but
it's
you could
bad
talk
enough.
your way out of a paper bag.
Actually, I could actually convince the paper bag to use not a paper bag too, if it actually I had feelings.
Also, God, I
Chris
can't
is like-
wait for like anyone watching seeing like me like at the very beginning, just like very very like stiff talking, and then now just fucking yelling on going
Screaming at
around.
the camera
Hey, Chris,
about the
Chris,
puzzles.
Chris, we understand. It's called coming out of your shell. You just got comfortable. Look out. It just happens
Yeah.
to everybody. Everybody we interview, because it's something new. You've never, it's great. That's what we like, and that's what we like to see. We want people to be people. And that's what we want. And you're one of the people.
Positivity.
He's got it. I could be serious. Just don't tell mom, okay?
You're about
Just
as
don't tell
serious.
mom. She doesn't believe me any.
If you're serious,
As a fruitcake.
poor fucking fruitcake.
Thanks, bud. Thanks a lot. Poor fruitcake. What is those pound cakes? Yeah, it's like one of those that just sit there and they just sit there and sit there and sit there, and you're going, God, I hope somebody takes this home.
Something.
God, I hope they take
Black
that
and
pound
orange
cake.
website joke.
That's the reason
Yeah,
why you
that too.
only celebrate pound cake by listening to the Van Halen song instead.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, which song? Which song?
Pound
Van
cake.
Halen's got a lot.
What other song?
Oh, pound cake. Hey, you might have had it. Say, got excited again. Say, I got it going. I gotcha. Woo, donkey.
Whoa. Oh, I broke that. Huh. It'll buff. If you're enjoying this, please, I would heavily suggest to follow us on any of our social media. If you go down in the thingamabob, down that way, we have a card, metaversedegen.card.co, with all our social media. Feel free to come follow us at any of those places. We've got Discord, we hang out there all the time. Feel free to come chat. Also, we have a Patreon with 2 people who joined up now, and I'm going to give them a little bit of a shout out. One of which is Training Fangs, who's a really good friend of ours, and Forbidden Zero, and also a good friend. So please, come follow us, come hang out. Oh. That's my cue to go. Enjoy the video. I'm so clipping that as a short.
Okay, Chris. That's good. Chris, I've got another one for you. Completely off the subject. Where do you want to see besides what you're doing and where you want to go? What do you want? What you're doing? Where do you want it to go? What do you want VR to go in the down the world, knowing it could be anything? What's something that you desire that you want to see them to improve? There's tons of things, but what's your opinion?
Honestly, I want people to see virtual reality more as, something that isn't like seen as like a royalty item for people to actually go and like, have it be something like more accessible. That's the reason why I love the Quest 2 so much, is because like the price was so cheap. Sure, like you have like all of the meta bullshit that was going on that people don't necessarily like, but at the same time, it was a price point that was really acceptable. It was like $200, $300, which that's less than some of the consoles that are coming out today, and even at that time. So to have something on the market that's so cheap to showcase like what all of this can be was amazing. And so I think that like as time goes on, the only way that we can see VR improvement stuff is just have it be more accessible, where we stop having to worry about spending $3,500 for a headset or however the Apple Pro thing would cost, and instead just like have something that people can go and experience. Even like VR cafes, like showcasing like the games and stuff. And even when it comes to productivity, like hell, there's been times where I would actually be working at my computer, and instead of just sitting there, I would have a VR headset on, because guess what? I can have the screens move around, so if I need to like be in a different position or like show a specific window, I can go and do that. And so I think that when it comes to where I see VR in the future, it's definitely going to be in a sense of productivity, where you're going to be seeing hybrid offices that include those headsets, where you're going to have people actually be able to go and like have one from work and be able to be involved in those areas. Whether that be just for like a work environment, or even like breakouts, or like I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is that you can do it for cool shit, and more people should be doing it for cooler shit.
It's one way to put it.
Even when it comes to like more basic stuff, like sharing your screen. We already have software for that, and that's even getting big. That's even getting bigger. Look at Big Screen. Look at the Horizons workspace as well, and even have like virtual desktop as well. That has the ability to go and showcase all that. Like we have these softwares, and they're going to be becoming more commercially acceptable and commercially used for people to go and do. And I'm honestly waiting for the day where I don't have to go onto like Chrome Remote Desktop on my PC to go and work. Like, let's say I'm like working on a show over in Detroit, and I need to access a PC over in Dallas. Like, I would want to put on a standalone headset, plug that into an outlet, and then connect it to like the hotel Wi-Fi, and then use Bluetooth, my keyboard and mouse, remote into that Dallas PC, and be able to work from there. Like, I already work in the events world, and so, something like that, just like a remote desktop software that works with a standalone VR headset, would be so appreciative. And I think, like, in the world of, like, actual, like, event production in the real world, and even with AV, that would be so beneficial, and you'd be seeing a lot of companies go and use that.
Well, I do say there are a lot of there are some companies like Meta, for example, that are trying to do that. And I'd give it some time. Let's use VRChat as an example that most people who watch us know. Like let's say 3-4 years ago, back before things look as they do now, there is easy to find worlds, all these cool things to do as we know it today. It took time to build those things. Things had to improve. The engine and Unity and VRChat had to improve with them. So in real life, with all those really awesome features and abilities you wish to see, give it time. A lot more people need to see it. The tech needs to improve. Right now, we're stuck in the Nokia phase of VR. So we're stuck with 12-pound potatoes on our face that weigh heavy as fuck. Give it some time.
Of course you mentioned potatoes.
Yes. Ain't it spectacular?
Puns. Shit. Here we go. Just like on the bright side, ladies and gentlemen, he's got his eye on something. Just don't know what.
I plead the fifth.
Figured you would. Figured he would. Yeah. Yep.
What?
What?
The pun.
What?
There's a pun as well.
What? He's trying to think of a pun. He's trying to think of a pun to go with us. Is probably what the deal was. Just don't worry.
Yeah,
you can smash it.
I'm trying to fight, but
You'll get
give
it.
it some time. Don't rush
You'll get it.
You'll get there eventually.
You'll smash it. And if not, you'll bake it all the way around.
Don't say anything.
I'm confused. I would be too.
That wasn't to anybody, you or Raptor. That was to them. I was having a moment with them.
They're real people too, you know.
You
like
put the soda down.
Like that saying,
drink the
right?
water.
Put the soda down, drink the fucking water. If you like it, you can add a little flavor. They got that stuff too, you know.
And it's not water.
Oh,
You can carbonate
have
it.
y'all? That's what the fuck y'all remind me of. You, the one who is moving now, respond. Do y'all remember like the VHS and VCR games as well with like Nightmare? Using like a Star Wars and Star Trek game as well.
Sort of, yes.
God, that has been engraved in my mind for like years now. Even though I've never played them, and I don't think I even like had like a VHS tape to begin with of anything. Those fucking videos of people playing, initially with like beer and board games, but like Loading Ready Run got involved in that, and like other like groups got involved when it comes to playing that. Like those clips have been engraved in my mind for years now. And did you know that like the one of the Gatekeeper isn't just the only one that exists? There's like three other versions of the VHS, and then there's the Harbingers, which brings back the Gatekeeper, and then there was like two DVD versions as well that came out. One that had the Gatekeeper, that was a completely different Gatekeeper than the one that was beforehand, and there was one that was Khufu, which was from the third one as well. And then like there was also like a remastered version as well that came out of like the VHS that actually was on Kickstarter that I think actually like made the funding. There's too much lore!
Lion, do you got the first aid kit?
No, I had to use it when I kind of killed Sam and Courtney with the last pun I made. There ain't a thing left in it.
No, I was just curious because he blew a gasket and we want to make sure we can fix the seal.
It heals in reverse.
It's in reverse. Just make sure that the gas says you know what the E stands on the gas gauge, don't you, Chris? Of your automobile?
Accelerate.
It doesn't stand for no, it doesn't stand for empty. It says enough.
Oh, speaking of games with the VHS videos, didn't like Markiplier do a really lengthy series as well, where it's like you get a little bit of a video and then you choose your own adventure sorta, and there's like so many different endings with it all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, there's quite a few
So-
of those.
on the topic of that, because there's like a Hyper Markiplier in Space Markiplier, which actually I think in Space Markiplier was nominated for an Emmy, which, hey, fucking congrats. He had a horrible time at the red carpet, but still congrats, Mark. God, okay, so you keep on activating like singular brain cells that I thought were dead for years, but no, still exist. Okay, so choose your own adventure games on YouTube were far more better than what they were beforehand, because we all know of annotations, right? We all know that annotations still exist. My hands are getting so sweaty, it's not registering on my Quest controllers. Anyways, so choose your own adventure games were amazing back then because they included one thing was that the annotations, and on top of that, they had QTEs in a YouTube video that you could go and do. If you know the name Christopher Cox, CA Cox 97, then you know how well these were. Because back like, I would I've too many things to say. Back like 12, 13 years ago when he was still making like Nerf videos, he he made a series that was a complete choose your own adventure game with a point system and like 4 separate endings to choose from depending on your actions, and even like game over screens as well that you could go and do. And it was one of the greatest things on YouTube at that time. Like, and there's many people that were going to do that. Yeah.
Sorry to inform you, Chris. There's actually a creator before that. They made actually a console game that used to play in arcades that dealt with a D&D game that you could play the game and anything like this, and you were supposed to be rescuing so-and-so and everything else like this. It's way back. You're looking back in the 80s.
Dragon Slayer. Or Space Ace.
Had what is he I can't think of his name. Holy Christ.
Yeah, I'm also forgetting his name as well.
Right there. Yeah, it started with a D. It started with a D, and it was a arcade game. No, not
Shut
D's
up.
nuts.
Let me look this up.
Nuts. Yeah, because it was a way, and if you didn't take the right direction, but you had multiple different ways to do it. Not like
Rick
this, and it
Dyer.
kept going
Don
on.
Bluth. Don Bluth.
What?
It was an arcade game that was put out. It was put out.
He just said the name.
It was. I don't know if it was Dragon Slayer.
It was Don Bluth, right?
Was it I have no idea. I don't know if it was Dragon Slayer or whatever.
Then what
Was
the
it-
heck are you doing?
Because I played the game, but I can't remember the name of the game itself. What
It's
the name
Dragon
of the
Slayer.
game that was it? Dragon Slayer? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It
if
was.
you're talking about D&D, it's Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, where you had to save the girl and all that kind of crap. That fuck, I only did about fucking a quarter of the way and died in that son of a bitch. I used to play the fuck out of that game and I only get a quarter of the way. I've only seen one person ever fucking finish it.
You didn't know that there's actually a remastered version that's on Steam now that actually has like an easier version of it. Yeah. It's on Steam right now for just $10.
Huh.
Even the
Hey, go to
sequel as
hell.
well.
Oh.
Wow. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed. I thought it was one of those lost arts.
Well, to be fair,
Yeah, the sequel
that
had
machine's
Mozart
worth
as well
money.
in it.
That machine is worth money if you've got one.
Well, the Laserdisc is probably worth more.
No, I'm talking the arcade game. The arcade game itself.
Like the whole machine.
Yeah, but it ran on like a massive disc to try and like sync everything up.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, but I'm talking the big, huge arcade game. Yeah, if you got one of those, any of those old arcade games like that today are worth a fortune.
Over in New Hampshire,
Even pinball
there's
machines.
a giant arcade that has, it's like they call themselves the world's largest arcade in New Hampshire, and they have so many old arcade games. It's like 3 floors of just old arcade games. I went in once, $20. I was there all day long for $20. It's like a singular quarter machine.
I'd love to go and see some of those old stuff because that's what you gotta realize. That's what I had before they had consoles and all that kind of shit. That's what we did in our spare time. If you had the money to dump a quarter or whatever the deal is and found quarters, or your dad didn't want blah blah blah, and he gave you change. That's what you went and did. And your parents loved it because they were in every mall. So you'd go there, and your parents knew where you were at, and didn't have to worry about naked Christmas shop, and you were out of their hair. Yeah, it was great.
Although, like, those arcades are getting so expensive now because, like, there's a game time in Margaritaville that I would go to where, you know, it was like I would say like $20 for like an hour of play, which, you know, it seems expensive at the time, but, you know, I would only really play rhythm games there. So they had like a Step Maniacs machine, so I would go and play that. And then there was like a little what was it called again? Candlepin bowling. They had something like that over there, so I would do that and then head back to machine and then just play around for like the last 15 minutes. But those spaces are getting so expensive now. We're like just trying to get like an hour of playtime alone when it comes to any of that could run you up like 30, 40, $50. It's absolutely asinine with how much these spaces are charging now, trying to get money.
Unless you go to the world's largest arcade in New Hampshire, $20 will last you many hours.
Yeah,
It may also be just because of the fact that like I'm in the Orlando area and everything there is just massively expensive.
That's why you're in Touristville.
Right.
Everything in Touristville is going to be expensive. And they do that because the tourist will spend the money to go.
I hate it here.
Chris, you ever been to Mall America?
No, but I've been wanting to. I love malls.
I've been there 3 times. Enjoy the 6 floors.
Nice.
And it has an arcade in it.
Sweet. Good conversation.
Yeah.
Actually, on the topic of malls, there's a mall in Tampa that actually has an Easter egg in it.
What? Really?
Oh, does it? Oh, wow. Describe.
I forgot how long ago it was, but there's a section in it that actually has my handprint when I was like 5 years old or something.
Oh.
I think it was like from 2007. But like it was back when like, you know, arcades were like very massive at that time. And so there was like a section that was for toddlers, and I don't even remember like handprints and stuff. But me and my sister's handprint are actually in that location. And last time I checked, like a year or two ago, it's still there.
You know there's going
to
to be
concrete or just paint? Concrete or paint?
It's paint.
It's paint?
You know there's going to be someone out there who knows what you're talking about and it goes, those are your handprints. And they're going to come hunt you down to ask you about it at some point.
Yeah. So if you're ever in the area and you ever by chance have a toddler and ever actually walk into the area and look at where. So, okay. This is the box. This is the area. Gate. Open the gate. Look over here. Look to the left. And like this section right here, if you see a green handprint, me. Also, that makes me part of liminal space lore. Which another reason why this mall is popular is because of the whole entire liminal space, you know, like Reddit system. Because there's an image of what appears to be like the second floor of like a 90s theater with like neon, like I think like pink neon lights or something. And it was taken on the second floor on the left side after you go up the second escalator. So if this was the opening right here, you would take up the escalator here, 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 and the image was put right there. That's the same mall that my handprint's in.
Oh.
How the hell do I still remember this?
Up, down, left, right, XAB.
What's XAB?
I don't know. You just threw it in.
Back when I was a kid, you didn't have downloadable cheat codes. You literally just had little fucking cheat codes, which was just you moved your X, A, B, Y, up, down, left, right. You know, I fucked that up. Someone's gonna know the one I'm talking about and tell me I'm wrong. Please do tell me I'm wrong. Wait,
it's not XAB, is
left,
BA
right.
start.
Oh, you're right. That's it. Yeah.
You act like that I didn't grow up with like the Scholastic Book Fair that would always have like those massive booklets of
No,
cheat
you-
codes.
No, wow, you just grew up like yesterday. Didn't you know that? Or are you just like me and trying to figure it out too? He's going to come over here and beat me.
No, I think you broke him.
Chris, come back. I think I fucking cracked his skull. There goes that coconut.
Dear Lord. Yeah, I don't
All
know
right,
how
Chris.
old you are. I never asked.
I
I'm
don't either.
21.
I'm the
Oh,
old as fuck.
Jesus. Oh, God.
I'm 32.
What about you? What about me, smart ass? We won't tell you.
What was George Washington like?
I don't know. He wouldn't give me his false teeth.
Did you enjoy the Prohibition era?
No, I tried to swim across the Delaware. Asshole threw me in the boat. I was small enough. Everybody needs a household pet. Think about it.
Oh, well, with that said, thank you very much for joining us, Chris. We appreciate being able to meet you.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah, it's been like an hour and 20 minutes.
So why? We can keep on going.
Sure, let's go.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
So are you
Listen,
ending
I'm
it,
here
or are
for
you
a good
still
time and a
going?
long time.
That's what she
We're
said.
gonna run the clock. We're gonna have to keep on
That's-
going until like
that-
security comes out.
That's what she said. Gotta watch you, Chris. You gotta watch the young pups. Always gotta watch the young ones, folks.
Indeed.
So are we ending or what are we doing here?
Oh. So, what happens at HorrorCon then? Let's just dig back into our initial conversation.
Wow, we're back starting up again. Yeah.
Indeed.
Giddy up, horse.
I'm gonna grab this horse, turn it the fuck around, go all the way back to the first few city blocks, and we'll start all over again.
I'm not
So
cleaning up the
previously on
horse shit
Dragon
that I
Ball
left
Z,
behind.
HorrorCon typical what?
Back on. Oh boy, here we go. You can tell he watched cartoons a lot.
So HorrorCon, you got an area when it comes to a lot of booths and stuff. You got artists, you got content creators, you got VRChat groups, and you got some other groups as well that are not necessarily in those first three lists. What move did you do? Whip?
I do weird shit. There's no reason for it. If you're to watch me in the wild, I'll do some random bullshit when I'm by myself. Like, for example, you could drag me to a store. We could be there for a specific thing. You go off for a specific thing. I'm by myself. I will play with shit. I'm all by myself in that corner of the store, and I will just amuse myself with random things. It does not take much.
Oh my god. You remind me of my family when like I turned 21 and we first went to an ABC. Okay, I'll get to that, but first HorrorCon. Basically, a lot of groups and stuff. People you can commission, people that do like they do content creation, people that do like actual storytelling as well, and also the VRChat groups as well that also delve around when it comes to like horror related stuff or like celebrate Halloween and all that stuff there. You also have events as well. So like for this HorrorCon, we had game shows, we had talk shows, we had performances, and we had even more. Hell, we had an after show, which guess what? You probably know the name. Rob Roman's voice. He was our opening act for the night.
I can't say that I do.
So like it's just you don't?
I live in a rock. Under a rock. He lives on the other side of the rock.
How do you not know? How do you not know? You're listening to Rob Roman's voice made exclusively for the dysfunctional family. How do you not know about that?
Oh my god. I know that. I've heard him.
Yes!
Oh,
Rob Roman's voice.
My god.
I think I broke him.
I just gave like
Broke him.
95%
I think the
of the
gear
audience
just
is
slipped.
complete PTSD. But yeah, no, that
Okay,
Rob
Chris,
Roman's voice
I'll pick
actually
up- I'll
still
pick
does
up your
DJ
bolts and
events, and in fact
screws.
did like that for like the official Vrchat after party at a
Oh.
convention that happened like I think a couple months ago.
Oh
But, you know,
wow.
he's great. He's absolutely great.
Oh. So
Like most of the stuff that he does is still like top 40 mixes.
oh, okay. So what did he do with you at
He's a
Project
radio setter.
Toricon?
Well, he was the opening act for the night show because we had some
Ooh.
DJs going on until like 2, 3 a.m. EST or something.
Holy shit. That's a wild party.
Yeah.
Oh. Damn. So blah 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 words, thoughts, yeah. 42. Official answer.
42.
42. Today's episode is brought to you by the
68
number
plus 1.
42.
Number
68
9.
plus 1.
Number 9.
Number 9.
68 plus 1.
69.
Number 9.
Mm-hmm. If you don't get it, folks, sorry. It'll be in the description down below. We'll tell you later.
You know, they're going to go to the description, look at the bottom, and I'm going to forget, and I'm just going to put get wrecked.
Get wrecked. Hey, the answer is get
You're
wrecked.
gonna like make an entire QR code, but it's just like binary for every single pixel that's either white or black. And it's just gonna lead to like a wild goose chase.
That's too much effort.
Damn
My
it, I
brain
just-
cells will not allow me to go that far. I'll probably get maybe max 7 layers of barcodes and the click your own adventure, and then I'll just give up and just have all of them, all the answers be Rick rolls. And I go, cool, good enough.
I keep on going back to Puzzle Hunt idea. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with
Had it on
puzzle
the
hunt
brain.
ideas. If you want to do
puzzle punt?
puns, I heard puns.
Puns?
Yep. Puzzle puns? Oh, that'd be fun.
Puns are fun.
Puns are fun. Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess what?
Oh boy.
Hmm?
Did you know that there's only 10 people in the world? Those who know binary and those who don't?
Hmm.
I'm one of the 10 that don't.
Hmm. I feel like there's an answer to this, and it went right over my head.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Please explain.
It binary.
Oh, like ones and zeros?
1, 2, 4, 8. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I thought there was some other thing to it. I overthought it. Back in high school, there was like a computer repair class in our Vogue school. And there was like a few straight
And he's
weeks
the one
in
with the
which
hammer.
we talked about like binary and computer systems of that era. It was a fun conversation.
And he was the one with the hammer
No, I
and
remember
chisel.
very little about it. It was like over a decade ago.
That's why I said he was. That's why he was using a hammer and chisel.
I'm not that fucking old, you dick.
Didn't say old, just fucking frustrated. He just beat the shit out of the fucking computer because he didn't understand what was fucking going on.
1011000110.
Just like when the Rubik's Cube came out. You couldn't solve it. They you know what they did? They sent you a hammer to smash it. Mm-hmm.
Really? They got sent with a hammer?
You could order a hammer to destroy it. Yes.
Oh. Was there like a reason for that?
Yeah, it
Like
was.
you would solve the Rubik's Cube and
Mhm.
something would be in the middle of it or something?
No, you couldn't. You couldn't solve it. So you could ask for a fucking hammer, and they said a lot of kids smashed the shit out of the fuckers, and I think they sent them back because they couldn't solve it. It was a mess. I don't remember.
I'm
It
too
was
young to
fucking
tell
weird.
if you're telling the truth or lying.
No, that's lying. I'm
Yeah,
Raptor.
I'm
You're
Lion.
Chris.
God damn it!
Oh, you're learning so well from me, Raptor. I'm so proud.
Usually he does that shit to me all the time. No, I'm Lion. You're Raptor. Don't you know your shit?
We'll be in a Discord call,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll say something that'll piss him off. I go, "You lying sack of shit!" No, that's my name. And they go, "You just slap his hands on the computer and just go fuck it," and just leave. Go back a few seconds later.
I just throw. Yep, give up. Fuck it. It's all said and done. All said and done.
You can always
So
Google
we're
it.
talking, yeah, HorrorCon.
HorrorCon, indeed, HorrorCon. So
Yeah. So
please continue.
If
I
you
get
guys
excited.
want to, if you want to dance, make sure one of you leads, okay? Because I'm confused.
I'm 2 left feet, and it being me. What about you?
and I'm a mirror maze.
Oh,
God.
do you have any plans for HorrorCon next year?
As of right now, we don't have any plans. But we are planning on opening discussion with the HorrorCon team as well when it comes to another collaboration. We, of course, heard that they were really happy with how this HorrorCon turned out, and we're also really happy with how this turned out. And so, honestly, we would absolutely want to host another one of these, hopefully yet again with 2024. So, yeah, nothing is confirmed, but we are absolutely happy when it comes to how this first one turned out, and we're hoping to do another one again.
Oh, wow. So how many communities are you guys collaborating with?
As of right now, it's mainly just when it comes to our like actual events that we're going for. If you're looking for like a head count, then there's only one that I actually know off the top of my head, which is for Project Fest. Which, if you're looking for booths, not posters, but just booths alone, 51 groups showed up.
Wow.
51, and these are groups that can range from like just a couple dozen people up to tens of thousands. So, you know, let's just say it's a fuck ton of groups that showed up, and we're hoping to be able to accommodate for more, because you know, when it comes to the first year, there were groups that were really interested in what we're doing, but also wanted to see what we did beforehand, just to see how we test the waters and actually go and do stuff before they go and get involved. And you know, we do enjoy, you know, something like that, because yet again, we were completely brand new when it comes to this branding, when it comes to everything here, and so you know, it makes sense for people to not initially say, "Hey, I want to be part of that thing," without knowing where, like, you know, the water actually is. Instead of just like jumping into the deep end, realizing that it's just 1,000 feet deep and there's no way to get back up because the land that you just were on just got flooded.
But
isn't
that half the fun though?
You know, hey, true. But we swam. We managed to avoid drowning.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
For yourself.
I
said, speak for yourself. I drowned every time.
It's because you try swimming with your hamster ball.
Wow, that's what it is. Well, I've been doing it wrong all this time. I'll have to keep damn. Wow. I thought it was a diving bell. Forgot the holes were in it.
We need to build him an underwater park.
No, well, we need to build them. You know those hamster cages with the tubes and like walkways and shit? We need to get one of those for his avatar. That is what we need.
And then that would be his AFK animation.
That would be an awesome AFK animation. You just see him running around the tubes. He'll stop, look out one of that, like the round hold end, and just keep on going.
Thanks. Thanks a lot,
colliders too.
I love you too, buddy.
It's got to have colliders so you can like shrink inside, hop in it, and go with him as he's in his AFK animation. Love your raptor.
I'm happy that I can add to the Dirty Raptor lore.
There's a lot. And
plenty. There's a lot. No big deal. There's plenty. That's it. No big deal. Not a problem there.
Well, back to Project HorrorCon. Actually, one of my friends was there, had a booth, but it wasn't an official booth. It was an avatar asset that he popped down. 666 Kitchen, Betty.
They also showed up for Fest as well. And actually had that same little booth area with like if you're talking about like the white foldable table,
Yeah.
and then like the yeah,
Yeah.
they were there as well.
The Hell's Kitchen group.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I actually went to see it one day is when I popped into this year's HorrorCon, and then that led me to walk around looking at all the booths and stuff. Unfortunately, it was after the events took place, so I kind of saw the ending of it. But a lot of the booths and stuff were there. It was actually pretty cool to see, and everyone that turned out. And I was quite impressed. It had like a VCAT vibes, but Halloween related. It was actually really cool and neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we did you actually know that VCAT showed up for the first Fest as well.
Really?
Yeah, they had like a nice truck. If you know, what is it? I think like if you know like the like big bulky like 60s Mercedes-Benz van. It was something like that, but with like their colors, and then also there was like avatars that you could go to, and even like a portal to the actual hub world for virtual market at that time.
Oh.
You know, we've been massive fans of like what VCAT has been doing, and we know that Lund has also been great friends of ours when it comes to helping support us.
Oh. I actually had no idea. That's actually really awesome. I'm glad that VCAT is fans of yours. That's actually really awesome.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely happy to go and collaborate when it comes to other groups if they want to go and create, you know, conventions or festivals and stuff. One thing that I also like to say more frequently when it comes to stuff like this is that people are always scared about, like, you know, if we have competition, like how we handle, like, you know, competition in the whole entire film. I don't think we have competition. We just have partners. And especially with a place like this, the only way that we can grow is to really make sure that others around us grow as well. Because this is a learning environment for everyone here to understand how to go and make these, you know, better, how to make these more accessible, how to make these, you know, in a more, you know, grander world, and especially with how to go and build something like this and make sure that it is something that can be maintained for year in, year out. You know, something like this, you can't just have, you know, one person be at the top and then have them be like the face of that. Because what if they leave? What if they, you know, like prematurely have to go for like any type of reason, whether it be like them having to focus on other stuff, whether that be, you know, something that goes on in their personal lives, whether they have to like go and completely quit for whatever reason. Well, now, since they're the head and they wanted to be at the head, no one can go and fill that position because they've tried to make it their identity for so long that, you know, it doesn't necessarily work out as well. So for something like this, you know, if we want PJKT to go and stay, then we got to make sure that everything here works well. So no matter if we have to go take a break for like a month, couple months, or hell, even a year for something, no matter if anything like that needs to happen, if we need to go and dip, we can find someone else to go and put in that position to make sure that something like this is flowing. And even when it comes to just like other stuff as well, making sure that, you know, everyone feels comfortable with the work that they go and do, and other ways to make sure that, you know, things aren't as stressful for individual teams. So, you know, like making sure that like for these events, you know, the reason why we did like over a weekend for 3 days is because we understand that if we do it for too long, then people get burnt out because, you know, that's a lot of moderation that you need. And hell, even when it comes to Carrot Talk, when it comes to events, the LPD does daily events. Do you know what that requires? He has 50 people alone on the events team to make sure those daily events actually happen. Because, you know, for most of the stuff, there may be a time where, like, let's say that there's like a Monday that, you know, you have 49 people that can't hit it. Well, you need that one person that can, if you're really looking to do daily events and have to be a consistent thing. So, you know, something like this, we can't go and fight each other to try and like get that additional person or get that additional team. We got to make sure that this is an environment that everyone feels safe working in. Whether or not you're working for multiple groups, whether or not you want to devote yourself to one thing, whether or not you just want to test the waters or just want to be here part-time. You know, this is something that we got to make sure that it's a friendly environment for everyone to be involved in. And, you know, for people to really understand what makes us comfortable. Because the moment that we try to fight other people is the moment that everyone loses in the end.
There's a really good quote. Rising tide lifts all ships. So in terms of
Mm-hmm.
VR and VR chat and the many collaborators that you've mentioned, for an example, I do very much agree. And it's like you hit the nail on the head in a lot of those. With things like VR chat, if you want this to exist, even long after, it's like within the VR chat clubbing community, it's very common for people to like want to be the guy and have it be their thing and drama and gone. Just as soon as the club got big, it's done. And that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you are very right with everything you've said. The collaborations, people need to work together in order to get this to be everything we want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we can't try and divide people. We can't try to like, put non-competes on the onto other people. We can't try to seclude people from like the stuff that they want to go and do, because the moment that we do, guess what? There immediately rise conflict. What if we try to get someone on our team, put a non-compete, but guess what? All the other stuff that they're doing, is with all these other groups. Guess what? We just stole their art person from them, and now those groups don't necessarily want to work with us because we just stole someone from them. What if we want to get an events team but have them solely focus on just our events alone? Well, guess what? Chances are they're probably working on other different groups as well. If we try to take them away from them, guess what? We lose those groups. And it doesn't matter if people think of them as like high or low profile, depending on like how many people or how long they existed. That's still a lot of people there that could go and be a part of something like this. And so the moment that you try to remove people from what makes them happy, you get those problems, you get those issues. So like for anyone wanting to try and do something like this, one of the biggest things to go and focus on is the fact of making sure that morale is high, making sure that everyone's happy, and making sure that everything is flexible. So that's the reason why you would see like some groups try to get like a lot of people in and like only have like a portion of them work for some time, because you can go and switch them in and out, and whenever they feel comfortable when it comes to something, whenever they have free time, they can go and work on that. Of course, when it comes to like if you actually have something fully funded, or like you actually have money involved, then you can start having people saying, hey, we'll pay you for X amount of work as like a contractor or like full-time thing, saying, hey, would you be willing to do something like this? Then balls into court. They can say if they want to go and take it, if they don't. And that's when it becomes a thing of like, okay, now we can go and fully fund this person's path, now we can go and fully fund this career, now we can go and fully fund the development of this person. And that would even include things like having subscriptions to spaces that have those classes for skills, having databases as well for just additional things that they want to go and pick. So like for like an asset library for like 3D models, or even like just general 2D animated assets and stuff for people to go and use information. So even like as much as it's as much as people tend to throw it around, Skillshare or Masterclass, stuff like that, you'll be able to go and like fund for those things for people's development. And so for something like this, the moment that you try to say, I want to be the end all be all, you lose everything. Because this is not how this space works. VRChat is a space that honestly is mainly run by the community itself. We're the ones who make the decisions when it comes to what we want to go and build, what we want to go and create. There is no main objectives. Sure, you can joke about the fact of like the trust system and there being like something there, but hey, guess what? It took me 2 years to go from being a like brand new user to get my trusted rank. 2 whole years. And that's not something that like I really care about getting to begin with. The main thing that I want to go and do is to just make cool shit. Is just to be a part of cool shit. And so with something like this is cool shit. I love events. I love working in this environment, and that's a part of my day job as well. It's just setting up events and making sure that they all run well. Because guess what? There's people that enjoy going to this stuff. There's people that enjoy having a booth. There's people that enjoy going to different events. There's people that enjoy just walking around these experiences. And so I want to be a part of that. I want to be able to go and do those things. This is my home. This is what I love. And a lot of other people love this environment too. We shouldn't take that away from them. So when it comes to this space, that's what we want to go and say, is that, this is a space for anyone to go and be involved. This is a space for anyone to go and showcase who they are, showcase what they're doing, and to showcase, why they love what they're doing. Is to be a part of a crew. And that's the reason why we always say, welcome to the crew. It's because this is what we want our environment to be. A welcoming space for people to go and create things.
Wow. You know, I like to pick your brain on something that's coming out very recently. Probably by the time this video comes out, it's going to be just coming out. What is your opinion and Project's opinions on the creator community that's being in beta right now with VRChat?
I think that people are trying to... Yeah, this is going to be a hot take. People are trying to inflate the creator economy when it comes to like any additional problems way too much. Just because of the fact that, like, number one, for people saying that it's a 50-50 split, no, it's fucking not. 50, 30, 20. 50% to creators, 30% to like the actual third-party system of like Steam and Meta, 20% to VRChat. The 20%, like that's a normal thing to go and see. Like 15, 20 Meta, 20% to VRChat. Except the 30% exists, but I can guarantee you that like there will probably be a change later down the road. And yes, this is me assuming, making predictions. Tell me if this is aged like wine or milk. My guess is that for the creator economy system is that they're going to be having it run first on Steam and Meta just to test out to see how many people use it. And then later on, release it for their website. So then they can charge a little less than what they charge on those other platforms for the same amount. So you would then actually see that 80-20% come in. The same way that when it comes to bits on Twitch, how it's upcharged on the mobile platforms because they also need to take that cut from those microtransactions. But if you just do it from Steam alone, then guess what? You get the full value of those bits. Sure, yet again, they take a small percentage of that, but at the same time, you know, it's a normal thing for them to take a small percentage and for you to get the full value from that. And guess what? A good majority of that is going to the content creators that you're supporting. So I honestly, I wouldn't be amazed if that's the line that they're going to. It's having a soft opening over here and then having it be accessible on their website and the majority of people being able to go and fund that way. And another thing as well is that I've actually been spending some time in Rec Room just to see how they do transactions because, you know, we've seen people compare that to the economy to Roblox. And and as someone who's actually like been into Rec Room for, you know, quite some time now. In fact, I've started seeing what Rec Room is when it comes to 2018, just because people thought it would be like a competitor to VRChat. It's not. It's a competitor to Roblox, frankly. And even you could tell when it comes to the Steam charts, when Roblox VR came out, on Steam, Rec Room lost 30% of their players just because Roblox VR came out. That massive, massive loss right there. And when it comes to what Rec Room is doing, the only thing that Rec Room is doing that's similar to VRChat is that they have like a thing when it comes to worlds, and now they have VRChat has a creator economy. Rec Room, yet again, has their own like little token system as well. They have like pre-built avatars where you can only like buy cosmetics for them the same way for Roblox as well. And yes, you can customize t-shirts and stuff when it comes to Roblox, which you can go and sell on the market for that. And the one thing that I really see when it comes to the difference between VRChat and Rec Room is the fact that they're going to be two separate things. Rec Room, yet again, focuses a lot on transactions. So when you see like the hot worlds, there's always like plugs when it comes to like, oh, here's like an RP world where you can buy a thing and you get a nuke, where you can like nuke an area and like reset the world, or like have your own in-game currency that you can go and get when it comes to those worlds. VRChat is not going to be like that, and I think that like the devs also see that as well and want to make sure that they don't have a Rec Room situation going on, which is the reason why you only see a limited amount of creators, like again, Virtual Ferns, LPD, Sirix as well, a good friend of mine, and they're all using it for just very, very simple systems. Would that be just like a simple cosmetic that you have in the world, or even just a small alternative to things like Patreon, Ko-Fi as well, which, I think they're playing it very safe when it comes to how they want everything to be implemented. And on top of that, I think that people inside the VRChat community are going to be very smart when it comes to understanding what worlds are actually meant to be there to be fun and what worlds are actually meant to be there when it comes to making money. Because hey, guess what? As much as people may disagree, this isn't a kids game. This isn't like, Rec Room, this isn't like Roblox, where you have those junior accounts of people that are like under 13 years old going and playing, asking and nagging their parents for credit card information when it comes to getting something. Because most of the stuff here, if people already are upset when it comes to that potential, well, not potential, but the 50-30-20 split, then we already have the idea of this not actually taking away from those other alternatives when it comes to people funding. So you'll still see people on Patreon, you'll still see people on Ko-fi, you'll still see people on Gumroad when it comes to selling their stuff. And hell, for even bigger creators like Shade the Bat, they have their own shops that people can go and use when it comes to purchasing assets, when it comes to purchasing digital media. And so we're not going to see that go away just because this creator economy exists, but instead really see this as an alternative. So if you want to use as a tip jar in game for the simplicity and for the something leisure, but yeah, for just the simplicity of being able to just go and open your menu, click on a couple things, and give some coins away that can turn into actual money, then you can go and do that. But we won't really see those alternatives where like people go and make transactions for advertising space in VR worlds just through that economy system alone. No, we'll definitely see those other systems, whether it be Ko-fi, whether it be direct donation via PayPal, stuff like that already still exist in this space. It's just will be seen as an alternative.
When the whole thing came out, I do remember seeing a bunch of buzz on the internet from like communities and groups and clubs that it seems there's some hesitancy with it because they are afraid it'll become like Roblox, as you said, just heavily tokenized for everything, which is probably why VRChat is doing a subscription system versus individual purchases. That way you can't do a one-time purchase for something. So people can't like, here, if you want to use the world, you have to pay blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's subscription systems. I could see that being an alternative to try and prevent that whole thing. But a lot of people, I think, are hesitant because of that. They're afraid VRChat will become pay to play. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and
I think that people. Yeah.
Did I freeze there?
Yeah.
Do you want me to repeat what I said, or did you hear roughly what I said? I had no idea.
That you think that people are going to be afraid that this turns into pay to play?
Yeah. Okay, you heard me.
Okay, good. So, yeah, I think that the communities here are going to be very smart, and I think that the people playing VH are going to be very smart when they understand, when they could be potentially cheated or trying to be nickeled and dimed by, some world creators that will try and go and implement those systems. And, I'm fairly positive that people will really understand when like worlds are going to be created just for monetization purposes, just for them trying to like make a buck or two or 5 or 10 or whatever much that they'll be trying to charge. And so, just like I said, just because of the outcry alone, I'm pretty sure that people are going to understand and people are going to like, only play on the worlds that they really feel comfortable in, worlds that don't require that monetization. Sure, there may be some, creators that will try to exploit this system and could potentially do it for like a couple of weeks before they get caught, just because yet again, there are still minors that go and play this that probably don't have, bank accounts, that don't really understand when they're being cheated or not. But I don't think that that's going to be a major problem in this. The only thing that we'll really see is, additional pop-ups that appear for like for other stuff, whether that be for like a tipping system or like anything to show thanks. But I don't really see this as something that would completely ruin someone's experience, just because yet again I think that people are going to be smart about this and either not exploit or know when they're going to be potentially exploited.
Okay. Well, I think you're mostly right, especially since it seems a lot of VRChat seems to be having that headspace now and approaching it with hesitancy, I think. And I am quite excited to see what people do with it. Though with those who are skeptical, I will say people tend to vote with their dollar and attention quite well. If it gets that bad and certain creators are exploiting the system, then as you said, that people just won't go to the world. They won't use it, and therefore it'll just be dead space.
Yeah. And going off topic when it comes to like people voting with their dollar, that's also what we see as well when it comes to Patreon. Like if you see a good world and you can go and afford it, then like yet again people would want to have a monthly subscription or like go ahead and tip the person because yet again they enjoy the world and so they want to show their appreciation. And so like yet again this being an alternative system when it comes to that happening, I think we already understand what this economy is going to look like just because of what's been going on in the previous years for these other systems when it comes to these different websites. And so I don't really have any fear of like this game turning into something that is, completely monopolized with, people begging for money. I think that yet again people are going to be smart when it comes to this. Sure, we may see like some like world creators create just like purely like tip worlds. So if you want to go like additional space to go and tip, just like very small increments, then we may go and see something like that. Just so like for people who are interested in going and giving money to a world creator, but just because they have coins in the economy and would rather give like one-time donations rather than just like monthly stuff and like at very small increments. So if they want to like kind of stretch that dollar out so that they can spread it around rather than just like have to spend it in one location with like a specific tier.
Yeah. Well, I do also see certain worlds disappearing too with the advent of the creator economy. We all know which they are, the ones that really shouldn't be there. And I think it's probably for the better as well. Although I would also like to see what kinds of things people do with it as well, especially with things like Laserdome, for an example. Games like that where there's regular tournaments and things as well. I could see some pretty cool uses for things like the creator economy. I can only imagine what those groups' thoughts are, but it'd be a really cool way to use it other than just, well, like Patreon. I don't know. I haven't wrapped my brain too much around it.
Yeah, and like Sirix has also been Sirix doesn't necessarily do a lot when it comes to like monetization. So like if you ever go on Patreon and stuff, like yeah, he gives like additional tiers when it comes like look back behind the scenes, like additional stuff, but honestly, like he doesn't really care much about like trying to get like a lot of money. If I remember correctly, there was like this weird law in Sweden that he mentioned where like any money that he makes from Patreon has to go back to like the stuff that he goes and does, either for like tax reasons or whatever. But also another thing as well is that like there's this like weird fee when it comes to like doing outsourced work from Sweden as well, just because it was heavily exploited. I think like a decade or so back or something. But yeah, like with most of the stuff that Sirix does, he's been very light with trying to add implementations for Patreon stuff, just because he doesn't want it to be like a heavily excuse me, heavily seen thing for like trying to like have like a very like money focused thing. He just wants to go and create stuff that people can go and enjoy.
Yeah, I am glad there are Vrchat and people like Sirix is seeing all of this and acting appropriate with it. Because if I ought to be honest, the community is just as quickly as we built and created this amazing thing that is the Vrchat community, can just as quickly destroy it with things like the creator economy, depending on how it's utilized. And I'm glad there are like figureheads of the community doing things like Sirix, or people in Laserdome, or people who do various other groups are putting their mind into how not to use it and then talking with their community about it. Because I can definitely see, as I said, the creator economy, if used by people who are greedy, can just as quickly take this entire thing and just bring it to the ground. Because people aren't going to want to be in a game where they get nickel and dime. Like, look at EA. They become the laughing stock known of the gamer world, the people who nickel and dime gamers. And it's people in Vrchat are no different to the gamers that make fun of EA. And just as quickly as it goes up, it could also take it down. That's just my thoughts in a nutshell.
Yeah. Rap, do you have anything to add?
Indeed.
Well, the biggest thing, like you said, yeah, but the biggest thing is the people are the ones that create this. And that's what the whole world of VR chat is ran on. It's the people that create worlds and stuff like this. And me and Lauren talked to about down the road. Don't get me wrong. Once you make a world, blah, 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 and VR chat gets the world, da, 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 you get to do what you want with it. But remember one thing. If they nickel and dime the creators and everything else like this, and the creators ain't getting unless they get something in return, those worlds are going to sit and all they're going to do is overload their server and they're going to have to bear them because who's going to update them? Think about it. Who's going to update? I can take you to quite a few worlds here that have not been updated and you get one or two people in it and it lags like a bitch. And the world's gorgeous, but nobody's updating it. It's sitting there. So that's just dead space that's in VR chat that somebody else could be using and stuff like this. They're going to have to really think this out. They might think blah, 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 and all this kind of crap because of the people that have invested and everything else like this. I'm sorry to inform you, if you know anything about investing or stocks in something and everything else like this, if you dump a lot of money into it and you take it as a loss, you get it all back, almost a third of it back when it comes to taxes. It's a write-off. So no matter what, if you're dumping money into VR chat, buying stocks, you're taking money out of your pocket and it ain't going anywhere, especially if you got a lot of money and you got to bury it. Because if not, Uncle Sam's going to take a chunk of it no matter what. And you're putting into something that's not going anywhere. You're not paying taxes on that money. So guess what? That's just the way it goes. And it's just the way it's weird. And they're going to have to think of something. Don't get me wrong. They're going to have to think of something that's going to benefit everybody and balance and you're not going to get everybody happy. I don't give a shit what you do. I don't give a rat's ass what you do. You're never going to, you're going to have that one person that's going to sit there and bitch. And he might have all worlds up the ass in here. And he goes, well, screw you. I'll go somewhere else. Where are you going to go? Unless you got the money or funding to turn around and make a complete different VR area or chat area or a metaverse that people go like Ready Player One. If somebody could actually do that kind of shit and has got that much gaming funding in their pocket to create that, VR chat will just be on the back burner and going, guess what? I was there. And that's what you're going to say. I was there. You're going to transfer to something that you can be anything you want, play games everywhere you want. You make the money by whatever you do and everything else unless they make it where it's another type of, guess what? The world's got a new currency like Bitcoin was. See how weird, crazy Bitcoin got.
Well, funny thing you mentioned,
and people were dumping it.
Is there's already some good examples of VR worlds or VR metaverses attempting to do the currency thing within the Bitcoin, like Decentraland as an example, that tried the whole monetization but got greedy about it. Like you could buy a really tiny square of land to build on in Decentraland, but it'll cost you a lot of money. Like not like VR chat bucks, but like actual Bitcoins to spend money to get into it. And you can't go outside the bounds. It is a small thing. You're going to spend a lot of money to get there, and it died. Like you go in there, it's just lots of copies, lots of nothing, emptiness. And unfortunately, if done, the metaverse, I think there are a lot of people and companies, whether the Bitcoins or like Microsoft or Meta, that are kind of looking at VR and the metaverse as like a means to make cash versus building in a sandbox. And just as quickly as all of those options came about, they plummeted into the dirt. Like look at Meta. Meta tried to do that whole, you can buy space for virtual land to build things. They got celebrities to buy land. They have lots of events from big names. And unfortunately, when you see that kind of option, no one's going. They left. Or even showed up in the first place. So with a lot of the whole monetization with things like Bitcoin, or what say you, it's kind of an inevitability if you go too far into that rabbit hole.
And honestly, I think that Meta kind of destroyed marketing just in like just on like a virtual space in general,
Mm.
just because of, you know, we've seen the advertisements when it comes to like Wendy's popping up, and then Oreo's popping up as well, and then even like the Super Bowl ad as well
Mm.
for that one space. You know, like even though it was like a year or two after I went to that space, no one was there. It was completely desolate, gone. Not a single thing was, you know, like really happening there. It was just me in that space. And you know, it's been very public when it comes to just like how awful Meta has been doing when it comes to trying to advertise the space, and even like the stock going down. So I wouldn't be amazed if people were to see that, like when it comes to investors or like these mega corporations that go and like, you know, see that and say, oh, because you know this company that's been existing for quite some time can't advertise, and I don't think anybody else can advertise here, which is absolutely not the case.
Mm.
The advertising is just in the wrong locations, I think, when
Mm.
it comes to like where the people are at. And of course, the way that people advertise are really the ways that like these spaces are not necessarily as, you know, focused on.
Mm. Well, I
You
think
know, one thing that I
Oh,
always
sorry. You continue. I apologize.
one thing I always like to point out when it comes to advertising, and you know, this is also me giving a hot take as well,
Mm.
that some people may not enjoy, but I don't necessarily like the advertising from these like VR dating apps, frankly,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we all know the ones that I'm talking about,
Mm.
but I think that we all can agree that we've seen how egregious these advertisements can be. Whether it be like you're in a festival world, you click on it, and then it pops up every single time you open a door to get to a new location. Or like you're in a drinking world, and then, hey, look, spin the bottle. Oh, wait, there's an ad there for the dating app. Or like even if you're trying to go to like a floor in an elevator, and then you're stopped by like a mannequin that tries to have a conversation with you, and they're just like flooded with advertising for the group, and it's completely unavoidable. There's no
Mm.
way to go and like head into that space without having to be stopped by that man.
Mm. Well, to be fair, in the
And
VR
so,
chat space with that specifically, I think a lot of those advertising is not by the application. I think a lot of it's done by the worlds in which they're advertising in. Like, for example, there are worlds like, I use the Black Cat for an example, that when you go into their Patreon, you can pay them money to put up your poster. And I think other world creators and people who do various community things here probably offer different options that they
right,
take
but I'm not
advantage
talking
of.
about that, because
Yeah.
those same worlds do have those advertisement spaces, but only for like, you know, people like me. We only have those spaces, whereas that, you know, something like that, I wouldn't be amazed if it costs like, you know, a couple hundred more or whatever to go and have that specific advertising into it, which, you know, takes away from the whole experience if you're being bombarded with something like that. And
Mm.
going back to Ready Player One, yet again, taking away X% of the screen for advertising or whatever, just to like have that space to make more money, isn't necessarily a good thing.
No.
If we're talking about advertising, then we want to make sure that, you know, something like that fits into the lore and the aesthetics and the ethics of what makes this space here. It's like, for instance, and you can like rotate the camera around. Like, this is a beta version of what PJKT was like. It again when it comes to what we wanted this space to look like, and you can see, you can see some of the booths here as like mock-ups. So yet again, that would actually be, you know, advertisement space for people to go and showcase who they are. And so when you look at the space, you wouldn't want to be bombarded by some massive fucking ad for something saying, hey, buy our product, buy our product. You wouldn't want that shit, because you want to have an experience where you can go and walk around and see everyone there. And so if you are going to be having any of those advertisements, you want it to blend in well and be something that complements the world and doesn't take away from other people there. It's like, for instance, like, who knows if there would be like, you know, a fucking like a billboard or a poster to go and like showcase something like that, or like something that is out of the way just to go and have that there. How even if like one of these buildings had like an advertisement for something else there, then, you know, that would be something that would go and blend in. And so, you know, with something like that, I think that there are better ways to go and do advertising in VR, and most importantly, VRChat. It's just that, we got to find a way of how they worked out. And we found a way how to work it out, getting with posters and having that system there. But I think that, there are other ways that if we're seriously wanting to look into how do we do something that isn't just, a flat 2D vertical image, I think that there are easier ways to go and do something where, it's much more accepting, it's less egregious, but also it fits the purpose of what it's trying to do.
Well, I think that particular topic is kind of for the VR chat community to find out, because it's not like VR chat itself has control. Well, it should have some control and say in those things, but the community itself are the ones kind of doing it. It's not VR chat that you're giving money to advertise in the Black Cat. It's the creator of the Black Cat you're giving money to advertise in the Black Cat. So I think in terms of this conversation of proper advertising in VR chat, especially with the advent of the creator economy, the community itself is going to have to figure this out in a way that's not annoying. And unfortunately, I think for a little while, it's going to be rough going with that. It's going to be a bit for them to incorporate those things and then use them and then figure out, oh, wait, people are pissed off because we're doing it this way. Maybe I should change it. But as we found out with like world creators and new advances in Unity packages as of recently, a lot of people talk and communicate with those things. So I see advertising and the creator economy functioning in a similar fashion, where it's just going to be the first couple of months to a year is just going to be rough. And then after that, all the kinks will be worked out and the community will know how they want to see it, and then it'll be implemented.
And I know that there's there was a startup that just recently appeared called AdLily that I saw some advertising for. It's interesting, but I don't know how well it's going to work out. Basically, the premise of it is that they have this prefab that you go and put in your world, and basically it's a prefab that is just for advertisements alone. And I don't know what the fuck they do in order to keep track, but it isn't based off just like paying a flat rate for a poster or like a X amount of seconds on a TV that fluctuates. It's based off of view. So it's based off of like someone actually like looking at it from X amount of distance for like X amount of time, and then that would count as a view. So if no one sees it, then you're not charged for that money. And so you basically go through AdLily to go and advertise there, and the people who have those prefabs take a cut of those advertisements. I don't know like how much money they take for that, but they take X amount for having those posters there as like a passive income. Another thing as well, when it comes to that though, is like they actually have on the FAQ that they're not taking like actual career advertisements, and they're only taking advertisements from like VRChat groups, period. So like you won't see like a fucking ad from like Coca-Cola or Sony or anything like that. You would see advertisements from actual groups that are born, raised, grown, and managed all inside of VRChat.
That's actually pretty awesome. Though, as I said, how VRChat does advertisements, and I mean the community, not VRChat, the company. I want to make sure that's very specific. We're going to have to figure this out. And I think things like AdLily, and I think it's a really cool option for advertisements. Though I'm sure it'll also may be a pain if they put it in certain really busy worlds and you expect, oh, it's only going to cost me $2 to advertise. Let's go. And then just kidding. Like if it goes in the Black Cat.
Yeah.
I think that kind of thing also needs to be I'm sure they have different ad tiers you pay for and you sign up for as well, but I think that the advertising is something we have to figure out, and I think that's a great option.
I think the major problem as well that they're going to be facing, besides like how much pricing will be, because there's always going to be someone that can pay for X amount, just because there's always feels like there's someone paying for it. Hell, look at B Club, where people are paying like $75 a month to have an ad on a TV screen and a poster, which that adds up over time. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I'm becoming you.
I will.
But yeah, I think the major problem that they're facing.
Become me. Puns. Sorry.
I think the major problem that
Sorry, I broke you.
the major problem that I think they'll face is the fact that people have to have that in the world. So you're already dividing your audience there because it's only people that have that prefab. So how do you get people interested in getting that prefab and also people interested in paying to have advertising, but only for people who have the prefab when you don't know how many people are going to be having that prefab or where that prefab is going to be? So the advertisement isn't going to work if there's no world creators that are willing to have that system implemented or even like willing to like understand how all of that works. Let alone talking about like how much they take per cut, or let alone like, you know, what it does to their worlds. If there's no one that wants to have that in the world, then there's going to be no people that can be advertised to. There's going to be no way to get impressions on an ad. So I think that's the massive hill that these people need to climb.
Yeah, and
You
why?
know, it's nice that it's only for VRChat groups, but you know, that's the thing that they need to focus on first, is how they can get world creators involved to begin with before that they can say, hey, you know, go and advertise with us.
Well, that's one of the things I think VRChat is. I think more likely world creators may use things like Patreon or the creator economy to do ads. Why would you go through a third-party company to set up an ad when you can hand curate what you show in your own world? Like, you could go to an ad lily and just have a very simple, I don't have to think about it experience, and oh look, someone's shown I don't like. But at the exact same point, I think a lot of people, the way they're doing it now, where you go to like Patreon to pay for the advertising tier, which costs you like 10 to 20 bucks to put your poster up, I think that's what a lot of people are going to do instead of Adlily, because they have control and say over what goes in there versus a prefab where it's like not your decision.
Yeah. I know that they're like looking into doing like filters and stuff for world creators and stuff. But yeah, I would say like, why would you go through a third party system when you could just donate just directly to the creator? And even if it's just like a PayPal donation or something like that, which you know, it is another challenge that Adlily would need to go and face, with it being, why would someone go through that system instead of just donating?
Yeah.
It's all about just simply like how much of that money could actually go into those advertisings, and yet again, how much of that cut would happen for that to be, you know, something accessible and something that people can go and like enjoy for that.
Yeah.
It's just a very difficult thing to try and implement, especially now, because we've gotten so used to just having those flat rate monthly tiers to have those selections, whether big or small, whether expensive or cheap.
Well, with things like Adlily as well, no offense to you, but you're kind of becoming the blunt object of this conversation. Sorry. But if you're using multiple payment processors, let's say like Adlily uses Patreon, you pay Adlily through Patreon in order to get that. That's one cut. And then through that, they'll probably use the creator economy as another thing to go between the world builder and Adlily. So that's a whole other set of whatever. I don't know how they're going to do that. But between A and B, to have that third party company, you also still have to give Adlily their cut. So between the payment processor, then Adlily, and then if there's another layer on top of that, the creator itself really isn't getting a whole lot through the percentages between A and B. There's no point. You might as well just use Patreon directly, pay the creator of the Black Cat to advertise in the Black Cat, and then the only cut is just through Patreon.
Yeah.
Money.
Is this something that's trying to figure out the benefits for that? And once like, you know, those benefits are more public, then that's when people can start making like actual final decisions on if they want to go and use that system or not. Raptor, what do you think?
I'm too old. I won't be around to figure it out.
Raptor, you're not that old. You may have been able to see Washington become president, but you still have plenty of years ahead of you.
Smart ass.
He's giving Mitch McConnell a run for his money.
Oh boy, yeah, right. Run or get stepped on. Which one you talking about?
Or you mean George Bush Sr.?
The one that was in office.
I don't think Raptor pays that much attention to politics. I don't think he knows.
Don't give a shit.
Could just
Don't give a shit. We get into politics and we're not going there. Not in this situation. No. Number one rule, no politics. Fuck that.
Agreed.
Because if that's the case, start pulling my tail and get the Vaseline out. Does that answer your question?
Okay, got it. Bend over, big boy.
I didn't. Oh boy.
Let's go. Where's the gloves?
I'm gonna
if you want
clue
to see
that
that
fucker
edition,
in.
then feel free to go for the Degen Plus tier
Hey,
on
why-
Patreon.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's not happening.
Yeah,
There will
just
never
get out
be.
the gun.
It's just a joke. Dear Lord, no. We're not going to be the OnlyFans people like most other people here in VR chat. No, big no.
Black Friday deal, $3 a month.
Oh,
Or you do
no.
payments in 1995. You get the next title for free.
I think the only thing close to that Metaverse Degen going to do is going to do an OnlyFans where it's just going to be pictures of fans and OnlyFans.
Wait, then.
We take G2A keys.
Yeah, I am interested to see where this whole VR chat and finances go. But in terms of like the virtual world, Second Life had it, and a lot of people there were happy with their whole system. So it's not like it's doomed and it's
Mhm.
going to be crappy. There are other people have done it right, even though as of lately, there's a lot of examples of terrible ideas. Hmm.
I think it's just like when you have, a system that works for a small group and make it public, people are going to try and find ways to exploit it no matter what.
Mm.
And so, it's been a couple decades since Second Life was, predominantly like the sort of metaverse game out there. So now people really have been, sciencing the fuck out of how would you do something like this and, turn into something that you can make a profit for rather than just make it something that is enjoyable.
Mm.
Which, I mean, we've been seeing a lot more of, especially like, the whole entire talk when it comes to union stuff. Anyways, politics.
Well, as a positive note for the whole virtual finances thing, my cousin over in the Second Life ran a club, and with that, he had people who donated to them. He had a whole system built up, and with what he got from Second Life, he bought his first car. And I guarantee someone out there knows the exact person we're talking about. But yeah. So there is some positives in terms of like this entire idea of finances. So it is possible. I just think with VR chat and advertising and money, I don't think there's enough interest in the metaverse. And I mean that overarching everything involving VR and social platforms. I don't think there's enough interest within the public sphere of things to really warrant large companies and stuff getting involved. Because right now it's like a bunch of people
And
who
I think
enjoy VR doing it. And like look at trying to explain
Yeah.
what VR is how many people, and like that's a great idea. Most people have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, have zero interest in getting involved. And I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that the major challenge that all of us are facing if we want to see this place, well, as in like, VR chat and everything around us, do become something that we can turn, hundreds, if not thousands of people into actual, like, turn this into a place where people can turn into a career, then we need to find a way to get many, many people understanding about what the hell everything is here.
Mm.
Because, like when any time VR chat gets brought up, yet again, the only thing that people really go and talk about are just those moments in 2017 and 2018, because that's the only real time that they
Mm.
go in to hear about Vrchat, was when that was seen as like the public thing. And even though, you know, like there's now 20, 30, 40,000 people in this game constantly, that's still the only thing that people really hear. And now when it comes to, you know, anything relating to social VR, people think of Meta, because now, you know, they're the one making the headsets, they're the one that's like causing all the fuss. They know all the outlets. And so the limelight is no longer in the positions that actually really matter.
Mm.
And so the major problem that we need to go and figure out is to just figure out how the hell can we get all of that into our favor again,
Well,
and to showcase what all of this is really about.
there has been a little bit of change in like VR chat's output. And I think the reason why a lot of people know like the Knuckles memes and the old 17, 18 VR chat cultures, that's what content creators pushed out. But now that I see, I use podcasting as an example because it seems a lot more interest in people doing this more serious side of things. A lot of content creators and the maturity coming out of content creators to including events, people who run events like yourself, there seems to be an interest in being more serious with it. You can see in a lot of the content coming out from here, and I think that may help a lot.
Yeah, also I'm sitting down now because I've been standing for like the past 2 hours. But yeah, like I think that there has been very much a shift with people actually taking this place more seriously and actually like understanding more and more when it comes to what all of this is about. Hello, camera. And so, you know, with that, we actually do see, you know, places that actually do in fact work out. Where, you know, we saw a virtual reality show where that'd actually be able to go and be, you know, something that has more funding, with, you know, all the different events, all different projects, and especially when it comes to what FIA has been doing over there to make it actually something that is beneficial for everyone around, while still being something that can be seen as like a form of income, so that FIA can focus on it more and more. And honestly, I can't wait for the day where we actually do hit those moments where more and more people are able to focus on VR full time completely for their own passion projects. The same way that we already have, you know, freelance photographers, videographers, freelance event hosts, you know, everything there in the real world. It would be amazing to see that in this virtual space, because yet again, this is just another location for people to go and work with, where you can go and 3D model anything that you want, and you can go and film or record anything that you want, and go and create events for anything that you want to go and do. And in the end, you know, you can have it be something that people can go and arrive with. And so I honestly can't wait for the day that we actually do have those moments where, in the same way that we saw people back in like the 2010s on YouTube say that they're taking YouTube full time, we have that happen here, where we have, you know, dozens, if not hundreds of people say that they can finally take VRChat full time and have that be their main source of income.
Yeah, and I believe as VR chat gains that ability to be able to work in here. Do you remember, like, maybe you do, maybe you don't, back when gaming started becoming something you could do full time with like YouTube, and then there were large competitions where you could go compete in Call of Duty or whatever and come out with a prize and make a lot of money? Well, even now, that whole aspect of being a career is still something a lot of people look down on. And it's going to be a while for VR chat to be taken as serious as gaming is, sort of now. And it's going to take time and convincing, and it's going to take a lot. And I think the biggest hurdle between there and then is people's interest in the space. I believe I was having a conversation off air with somebody, and they kind of brought something up where right now the biggest hurdle is VR chats having the exact same money circulated amongst the own people. And that's the only issue, is the exact same people buy avatars, the money goes to the avatar creators, the avatar creators buy assets and stuff from other creators, and then just kind of circles a little bit, because there's not enough people who do in the space, even between all the VR platforms. It's like, as you said, 30, 40,000 people globally who use it. People need to come in here and take it a bit more seriously in order for like there to be a financial option to be able to live here full time or work.
I mean, the moment that you're able to to, find funding from outside spaces, that's when you can go and see this become like an actual full-on career. Whether that do be like sponsorships, whether that do be, like investors coming in or anything like that. Even when it comes to just like, streamers and stuff, sure, tips are nice and all, but yet again, they need those brand sponsorships. They need those like donation tiers as well. They need merchandising to go forward with that. And, the only way that you're able to have something like that exist is to have those other outlets that happen around that brand. And when it comes to VRChat, our brand is ourselves. Like the same way that content creators, their brand is their selves. Whereas PJKT, the brand is yet again the events that we go and do. And of course, with that, the people involved also need to make sure that, they're doing good when it comes to their own stuff. So since, everybody here that is a part of the team has their own communities that they're heavily part of or even own. Now, even for me, I'm starting out with World of Champions. And so I'm running into some main struggles as well that I think that a lot of other people are facing. Since I'm doing game nights, and so the problem is yet again trying to find people to go and participate when it comes to the game nights, or yet again like having time to go and have those things. Even when it comes to like being just like a team of one, trying to set everything up. And so at the beginning, it's the main struggle trying to have everything there. But the moment that we can go and undermine those struggles and find ways to actually, break out of the mold and to be able to really go and focus on something, that's when we go and see all these major big things happen. And I forgot the question.
Honestly, I don't think it was necessarily a question. Well, I started the question of your thoughts on the creator economy. It just kind of branched out into a conversation. So the most recent part we were at, we kind of just were in a conversation, not necessarily answering a question anymore.
My brain goes a lot of places, and sometimes it just gets completely derailed, and then like the train is going, it hits gravel, and it keeps on going, even though there's no more track.
I understand.
I want scrambled eggs now.
Well, maybe at this point in time, we can call this a video. Where can people find you if they wish to be a part of any of the communities you're a part of?
Okay. There's a long line of stuff when it comes to showcasing where I am. So let's make this easy. PJKT, discord.gg/PJKT. That's the simple one. There's a Discord there, projectcommunity.com. Our website is actually currently being updated as well, so you can go ahead and check that out. When it comes to other spaces, if you're interested in what I do, just look up the name Chris Kani. Yet again, it's in the thumbnail. It's in the title of the video. 3 syllables, 2 words. Chris, Kani. You should be able to find my YouTube. You should be able to find my Twitch, because I'm also looking to get into streaming. If you want to know about World of Champions, which is the stuff that I'm doing, then just look up WOC on the group activity. And then I remember correctly, the link is like 5824 if you really want to be close when it comes to IDs. Which, hey, guess what? When it comes to HorrorCon, I was there as well, so you can go and see that. But also did trading cards as well, which you can see there. And I'm planning on doing later. I'm rambling now. Also, Cyrix Mini as well. You can just look up Cyrix, X-Cyrix, and then you should be able to go and find it. My voice is dead. It is 7 p.m. How long have we been going for? Like 2.5 hours now?
2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
All right.
2.5 hours.
Jesus Christ, how do y'all do this?
Check the description. Everything he's mentioned and more he's probably remember afterwards will be all the way down there in the linky doos and the who's and the what's it. Also, we have a card, metaversedegen.card.co, with everything we do as well. Check it out. It's a cool place. Somewhere in here, I also cut in the fun little "look, I exist" thing. You're welcome. Raptor, close us out.
And on that note, folks, no matter what the ordeal is, we appreciate to come down and see us on our Discord. That's probably down there too. I don't know where it's at, but it's buried in the mail somewhere. And then on that thought, come see this world. See all the worlds. And if you don't, Don't look at me. I was just there. Have a good one. Bye, folks. Bye.